Hello, hello. My name is Liz Ashley and welcome to my channel. Hello. Welcome everyone. I hope you're having a good day. Today we have a lot to talk about. But before we get into that, please like and subscribe and comment and all the things, all the things to help me grow. So today we're going to be talking about PBD having Netanyahu on his podcast, Netanyahu on yet another podcast. We are going to be talking about Ethan Klein continuing to crash out in his stories, which is kind of hilarious. And that has to do with Mr. Beast being kind of petty because he's upset with where he got ranked in the Rolling Stones creator of most influential creators. So we're going to get into that today and so much more. But first, we are going to do the question of the day. All right, so our question of today is Trump going to die? So this has been the big thing online now for a couple weeks. And I forgot to add a thumbnail to my stream. I don't even know if I can edit it right now. Maybe I can edit it on YouTube. Okay, sorry. I was actually doing so good and then I remembered I forgot to add a thumbnail. Anyway, so the question of the day is Trump going to die? I don't know. Everyone's been talking about it, and I gotta say that I just don't think so. I mean, eventually, yes, of course. But, right now, everyone thinks that it's going to happen super, super soon. And I just don't. And I know that's been what everyone's talking about lately, but I don't know. I just don't think he is. So I want to know what you all think, because I really am not sure. I know a lot of people have been saying this, and it's because he has this bruise on his hand. And there's been a lot of people online that have said, oh, well, this is basically, okay, sorry. I'm trying to update my thumbnail. They're saying that, okay, well, this is a sign of heart failure, I guess. Listen, I don't think so. I just think that he has enough money to be, I said this before, I think he has enough money and resources to be able to live for a long time. I feel like a lot of really not great people do live for a very long time. And so, yeah, I don't know. But that's basically what I think. I don't know. I thought this was funny. This was a meme, and it shows Donald Trump with the bruise on his hand, and then this photo was taken in the Oval Office today. And then over here, it says this photo was taken of the Queen Elizabeth 2 days before her death. Now, again, I just don't think it's going to be that easy. But there are people like Alex Jones who are like, no, he's going to die in 12 months, 6 months. He's going to pass out. He's just going to collapse in 6 months. And then there's this other guy who says he's some home health person, and that this is a sign of liver failure and heart failure, and that he keeps getting IVs in his hand, and that's why 6 to 8 months. Is that what you think? Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. That's what everyone's saying. And he does seem like he's losing it in his mind a bit, but I don't know. I think evil people don't die that fast, but if he does, you never know. I don't know if that's going to make anything better. Who knows, really? But yeah, I thought this would be kind of funny to talk about and ask. So what do you think? Do you think he's going to die soon or not? All right. Let's get into our next segment, today's headlines. All right, so today there's been a lot going on today, and not a lot of it has been good. So headlines. So Cracker Barrel went back to their previous logo after Donald Trump criticized them on True Social. I don't think it was True. I think he did do it on True Social, but then I also think he talked about it in some presser or whatever. So yeah, they changed it back. No more woke logo. Ridiculous. This has all just been so ridiculous. Judge says Cuomo can't prolong court battle with accuser to resurrect his public image, which is great. I'm glad that the judge decided that. And then let's see. All right. So, FEMA workers on leave after criticizing the Trump admin. So we're actually going to get deeper into that later in the show. But yes, that is definitely terrifying that FEMA workers are on leave after criticizing Trump. That's not good at all. Not good at all. Trump CDC cuts hit red states harder than blue states because they won court battles. So because blue states have taken a lot of these cuts to court, they're actually going to be okay. But red states are getting hit the most, which we knew it was going to happen. But yes, that's what a lot of people are reporting on now. Trump extends control over Washington, D.C. by taking over the management of Union Station away from Amtrak. Again, just more things that are just more concerning day by day. It just increasingly gets more concerning day by day. So I'm a little nervous. Okay, let's see. Okay, Kilmar Obrego Garcia can't be deported until early October. That's what a judge ruled recently. I don't know if I think it's a good thing. I'm not sure, but I think it's a good thing because he's gonna, I think, apply for asylum. So hopefully that'll work out. Venezuela deploys warships and drones as U.S. destroyers draw near. Not a lot of people are talking about this, and I think this is kind of important. So we're going to keep tabs on that because he says that he's the anti-war candidate, but looks like he's trying to start a war with Venezuela. So, ICE asks for access to Chicago area Navy base to assist in operations. So that one's also scary. That one's new, somewhat newer. I was looking this up before I got on here and I was like, oh shit, that's serious. And then of course, something really tragic happened today. 2 dead and 17 injured in Catholic school shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we're going to talk about that later as well. So yes, those are the headlines today, depressing as they are. Depressing as they are. I'm surprised someone I'm surprised someone is working at FEMA right now too. Cracker Barrel is a good name for it. Let's see, Venezuela as 18% of oil. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess they're gonna try to I don't know. I guess they're gonna try to take over and take the oil, which is just, I don't understand. Why are we doing this again? We've already done something like this before and it didn't work. Why are we doing this again? I don't know. It's not fun and it's terrifying. So that's, I don't know. It's really terrifying. Let's see. Oh, so you have good news. Little misfortune in Frambo, second and first game of Kill Monday games. A Latina and her BF will come back in a third video game. Oh, that's exciting. I don't know what that is, but that's exciting. I'm glad. I'm glad that's good news. All right. So now we're going to get to the topic of the, well, it's going to be topics of the day because we're going to be talking about Ethan first, and then we're going to react to Netanyahu on the PBD podcast, which, oh God, I gotta be honest, like, I really want to talk about it and I really want to react to it, but I'm also not looking forward to it because it's probably gonna make me upset. Okay, so let's get into the topics of the day. All right, so first we are going to talk about Ethan and his everlasting crash out on on his stories. So recently there was this Rolling Stones interview, piece. Okay, I was like, why can't I think of the word? This Rolling Stones piece that decided the 25 most influential creators of 2025. Now, if you read through the article, it does say like how they came up with these different creators, and it's not just based on like analytics, or it's not just based on like follower count. It's also based on like their impact in society and how they're moving the conversation forward and things like that. And they didn't do it on their own. They took a lot of data, and I think they had some algorithm or whatever decided for them. Now, there is a creator called Caleb, I think it's Huron, and he's really funny. I think he's hilarious. I've seen him on a few things, and he's so funny. But he actually got a higher rating than Mr. Beast, which I'm not a fan of Mr. Beast. If you've seen any of my old videos, I'm not a fan of Mr. Beast. I don't like Mr. Beast. I'm one of those people that's just like not a fan. And there's something off about him to me. His vibe just isn't right for me. I don't know. That's my take. Mr. Beast is bad. I think Mr. Beast is bad personally. That's just my personal opinion. But Mr. Beast got upset because he was not higher on the list. Now, before Mr. Beast even came out about this, Ethan Klein was already mad about it, right? And I think it's funny because Ethan Klein wasn't on it at all. And I don't know if he's just like mad about that part of it. I don't know. Maybe he's jealous because Hasan was on it. He was not. And so this is what he said. Taylor Lorenz was one of the people who wrote this, or I'm sure contributed to it. And I'm sure they got her input from being like a journalist who talks about things going on online. So it actually makes a lot of sense. And Taylor Lorenz. So this is what Ethan said. Taylor Lorenz wrote this piece that proclaims Hasan to be one of the most influential creators of 2025. How the fuck are legit media brands working with this mess of a human being? And how is this not a conflict of interest? So I thought this was really funny because Ethan keeps saying this like over and over again, and so do his fans. They keep saying like, oh my gosh, why does everyone keep working with Hasan and Taylor Lorenz, all these reputable brands? Why are they working with them? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because Ethan is the one who's kind of going crazy right now. Maybe it's because Ethan is the one crashing out and harassing all of these people right now. And that's why that Hasan and Taylor Lorenz actually have like good opinions. And and it wasn't even just like leftists. There were right wingers on that list too. So it's not even that. Like, it's just they are influential but he thinks it's like a conflict of interest. And I think it's really funny because he would have been on there anyway, whether Taylor Lorenz helped like contributed to this piece or not. But yeah, it's just funny that Ethan and his fans are so surprised that like a well-known journalist, Taylor Lorenz, is working as a journalist for the Rolling Stones. She writes a lot for a lot of different outlets. And so it's just so insane to me that it's like, I can't believe these reputable outlets. But I think he's just jealous, and I honestly think he's just mad. So that's what he said when this first came out. And so now let's talk about what Mr. Beast said. So Mr. Beast Mr. Beast was being petty, just so petty. And I really do think this kind of shows who he is. And I'm glad that it's coming out now, because I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of Mr. Beast at all. But Mr. Beast responded by saying, okay, one sec, let me get it up real quick. He responded by saying, according to this list, a guy with 1 million followers is more influential than me. What did I do to piss off the Rolling Stones? Now, a lot of people were making fun of Mr. Beast because they're like, does he think the Rolling Stones, the band, has anything to do with Rolling Stones, the magazine? And I don't know. Not magazine, but like outlet. I don't know, who knows. But I just think that's insane. And I think that Mr. Beast, I think this shows that Mr. Beast is so full of himself. And I only think he does this shit, like does a lot of the shit that he does because he just wants the recognition and he wants the money. But Philip DeFranco was talking earlier that actually Mr. Beast is losing money and his businesses are not profitable and he is not profitable, and that he's been spending like billions of dollars, billions of dollars, and is not making any money. So I don't know, man. I just think it's wild. He's like, man, I've done all these things and why am I not higher on the list? Like, you're on the list, man. Like, chill out. There are people who are more influential than you. Like, chill. And then Taylor Lorenz responded by, get a job, stay away from her. And then this is how Ethan responded. He said, Mr. Beast, it's because it's written by Taylor Lorenz. She literally just writes in her friends. Like, that's not true, because what was that one right-winger that was on this? It was like Alex something. I don't know. I don't pay attention. But Alex Earl. I don't really pay attention to that side of the internet, but Alex Earl is the one who's on here. She's like a right winger, okay? Like, they're not just putting their friends, and so this is really stupid. And I think both Mr. Beast and Ethan are just jealous, and they they need to humble themselves. Honestly, is what I think. They need to humble themselves. Okay, so the next thing is Caleb ended up responding to this. And so okay, so he says, thank you, Rolling Stones, it's an honor. And what he posted was Mr. Beast's tweet, which I thought was like genius. He's a super funny guy. He's like a really funny guy. And so this whole time he's just been kind of memeing about it, and he doesn't really care, which I love. And then the last part of this little saga is actually Mr. Beast deleted this tweet after everyone started like freaking out on him. Oh wait, no, that's the Disney one. Wait, which one was it? Oh, here we go. So Mr. Beast, I guess after everyone was like, this is kind of like, why did you say that? Like, you're literally Mr. Beast and you're being petty as shit for what? He's like, oh, this guy only has 1 million followers. Like, like, oh my God, can you be any more of a piece of shit? And so someone said, put some respect on Caleb. And then Mr. Beast said, not gonna lie, after this, I watched some of his stuff and it's actually good. It's actually good. Like nobody could be better than Mr. Beast, and so he just assumes that like everybody else is like bad and not good. That's so funny. Not gonna lie, after I watched this stuff and it's actually good, I deleted the tweet. I don't want the smoke from the shooter. Spare me, please. And then Kim says, celebrities laced up and made a difference today. Hold fire for now. Oh my God, it's so insane. Like, this is so insane. And I actually think it's really funny that he deleted it, that he deleted the tweet, because I guess he realized that that's bad for his image. And I feel like there's already a lot of shit going on that's bad for his image. Like, he did not treat people well on the set of his TV show. And that seems to be a common thread throughout his videos and people who have worked with him. And so I just don't think he's a good guy. I don't think he's a good guy. And I think this kind of shows that he wants people to see him in this certain way as this like white savior, essentially. And when he's not being seen as that, and even if he is, but it's just like a little bit lower on the list than someone else that only has 1 million followers, then he's going to be petty and get upset. Yeah, so it's just insane. I've never seen any of Mr. Beast's vids, only heard about the drama and the scams with him. Yeah, I literally cannot watch Mr. Beast. I watched one video, and it was the one where the guy was stuck in like the grocery store for a really long time. And the only reason I watched that is because I did a video about it, and about how he treated that guy and like how that guy got through it and everything, because there was initially someone and then he couldn't do it because it was essentially torture, and then they got someone else to do it and changed some of the rules and stuff so it wasn't as bad, but the first person had to endure all the bad shit. And so yeah, it was just really messed up, and they put people in these really messed up situations, and I just, yeah, I'm not a fan. But right now, Ethan is still crashing out, and not just about Mr. Beast and Taylor Lorenz. He's been having he's been going after Destiny for a while. Now, I'm all good. He can go after Destiny. I don't like Destiny. I really don't keep up with this stuff. But he, I watched the one where you have to spend a year with a stranger. That's really weird. It's kind of weird. I'll have to, I don't know, I'm probably not going to watch it, but I'll have to look into that. That's funny. Yeah, and so he's been having beef with with Destiny's community, because the funny thing is he was getting a lot of the Hasan talking points from Destiny's community. And I guess one of Destiny's like business partners is sponsoring Ethan's podcast, right? And so he's kind of been in cahoots with Destiny for a minute now. But the funny part is Destiny has always been a horrible person, right? He's never been good. He's always been horrible. And now he's being accused of sending it's C-spam, right? CSAM. And he's been accused of sending it around because I guess this girl was like 17 and was he like sending her nudes or something? I don't know. Really, really messed up shit. And so now Ethan is calling him out rightfully calling him out on all this shit. And he's realizing that the community that he was in bed with, that he was helping go after Hasan with, are not good people. And are willing to defend Destiny to the ends of the earth, which is crazy. And so this is he's been spending a lot of his time going after Destiny, which I think is great, but he took some time out from going after Destiny to go after Hasan again. And I was like, great, go after Destiny. Just spend your time on that man. Just leave everyone else alone and just go after this man, because he deserves to be called out, you know? So go after him, have fun with that, and just leave everybody else alone, please. But that's not what's happening. Maybe for like a couple days, but now he's back going after everyone else. And so he was talking about Hasan again the other day. And so this is what he said about Hasan. He sent a video of him and a woman that don't know they are filmed. Oh, yes. That is really messed up. That actually happened to a friend of mine when I was younger. And like revenge porn. And I mean, she was not a minor, but it was still messed up, you know, that her like ex did that to her. It was so messed up. He like put it online and everything. It was so horrible. But yeah, no, that's so messed up. He sent a video of him and a woman and they didn't know they were filmed. That's like so messed up. That's so effed up. And he used to recruit more women. Oh my God. Destiny is just like, and that's why I don't talk about him much, because I just feel like he's just like the scum of the earth. And unfortunately, a lot of like not mainstream Democrats, but like mainstream, like, I don't know, like super PACs. Like, I know there's a lot of drama going on with like the super PAC and influencers getting paid. And I think we're going to talk about that on Friday, but like he is a part of one of the super PACs going and trying to be like Charlie Kirk, and people have called them out for working with him, and they're like, oh, well, there's not any evidence. We believe in, innocent until proven guilty and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, okay. I'm like, man, centrists will fold for anything. They just don't care about anything. They'll fold for anything. And he is so insanely pro-Israel. And it's just like, it's like vicious. It's like, yeah, it's like vicious how much hate he has for Muslims and Palestinians. And so, yeah, I just like, he's just a horrible person. And, if Ethan wants to go after him for the next 3 years, whatever, I don't care. But he's still going after Hasan. And I was like, you should just go after Destiny and leave everybody else alone is what I think. But, hey, it's not what he's going to do, is it? All right. So this is what he said about Hasan. Yeah. And it's also funny that he can't see that a lot of the talking points he got about Hasan were from Destiny's community, and then still believes all the things that they said about him, which is crazy. But anyway, so Hasan said, everywhere around you, things are deteriorating in real time, and most people are sleepwalking through it all. Worried about the Cracker Barrel logo changes as the Trump admin is knee-deep in the waters of fascism, Holocaust in Gaza, kidnapping by ICE, domestic military occupation. And Ethan is saying what lots of liberals are saying, and it's driving me crazy. Every single one of these policies would have been prevented by a Kamala presidency. You love complaining about Trump, but where the fuck were you when you could have done something about it? I hate this. I hate this, and it's been driving me crazy more and more and more. And you know what I learned the other day? That actually her husband, the law firm that he works for, is doing pro bono work for Trump. Just saying. So I just get very frustrated, and I'm getting very frustrated with the amount of people who think that they voted. That was all they had to do. And now it's everybody else's fault, and it's everybody else's for themselves now because you couldn't vote or whatever. First of all, he did vote, and he did vote for her, and he voted for her on stream. Second of all, he didn't tell anyone not to vote for her. Third, leftists were screaming from the rooftops for them to change their outlook from Biden in any way, and they did not, and they would not budge. And so I don't know how much more people can keep doing this line of like, oh, well, it's all the leftist fault. No, it's not. It's the Democrats and the centrist fault for not reading the room, for not letting a Palestinian speaker at the DNC, for saying that we needed the most lethal military. Like, when she was calling them weird, when they were talking about progressive things, when they were talking about getting costs down, they were doing really well. And then when she said that she wasn't going to do anything different than Biden, that's when things started going downhill. And again, everyone was screaming from the rooftops, you are going to lose if you do not budge on this shit. You are going to lose if you don't have a better counter narrative for immigration and for Palestine. And did they? No. And so now here we are. And I think a lot of people who want to have this argument conveniently forget that Joe Biden would not drop out. And everyone kept saying, oh, well, no, it's okay. It's okay. Do you want a literal corpse, or do you want Trump instead? And so I do think Joe Biden has a lot to blame too. And that's just conveniently forgotten. That's just conveniently forgotten that Joe Biden didn't drop out, and he should have dropped out. He should not have even run again. And it's conveniently forgotten that that was like literally it. And so I get very frustrated, and I do think that a lot of people are, I think Hasan's right, a lot of people are sleepwalking through this, even though, I don't know, Threads is a weird place, man. I'm starting not to like it. It's kind of toxic. But I was on Threads, and there was someone from a different country who was saying, like, are Americans just stupid, or like, do they not realize what's happening in their country? And a lot of people were very mad in the comments, and they're like, we're not stupid, there's just nothing we can do about it, we're not stupid, da 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 da. And I don't necessarily think it's people that are stupid. I don't think it's because people are stupid. I think it is just because people want to believe that things are just going to continue to stay normal, that things are just going to continue to be okay because that's how they've always been, when that is actively not becoming reality, when that is actively being like, when that's just actively like, one day people are going to wake up and they're going to be like, wait, what's happening? I have to go to like a checkpoint before I can go somewhere, like that's what's going to happen. People are just going to wake up one day and they're just going to be like, oh shit, what's going on, And unfortunately, it is because people want to have this normalcy fallacy. But I also think it's because people are just busy and they work and they have things that they're doing, and they're just so focused on themselves that the outside world, they just want to not deal with it. And then a lot of people, and like I've done this in the past, like I still paid attention to news, but there were times that like I stopped like doing activism and stuff for a couple months because it just got really heavy. But then I always came back to it. But I do think that a lot of people are tuning out because they're like, well, it's just too much. Politics is just too much now and I can't deal with it. And unfortunately, you just can't do that right now. Like, that's just something that we just don't have the luxury of tuning out right now. Like, nobody has the luxury of tuning out right now because this shit's important. And as I said in the headlines, like they're literally asking in Chicago to be able to help with, I forgot where, let me figure it out. But, they were literally asking for, they were asking a Navy base in Chicago to assist with operations of occupying Chicago. And they're taking over Union Station. They're taking over the management away from Amtrak. So like, this shit is real. Like, this is real. Like, this is fascism. This is real. This is happening. And one day everyone's going to wake up and our whole society is going to change. And it's not because of leftists, because leftists have been screaming about this for years, and the Democrats have not had a viable solution to any of this, and they haven't had a viable comeback to any of this at all. And I just get very frustrated because I feel like we're getting back into this like blame the leftists for everything era, I guess, because there was a while there where I thought a lot of liberals were starting to like wake up or radicalize, and I think some have, but I do see a lot of this like blaming leftists now, and how you should have just voted and why didn't you vote, and just like, and okay, a lot of people voted, okay, that's not like it, like she lost because of the Democratic Party. She lost because people like even now Trump is more popular than the Democratic Party, and he's a literal fascist. And he's more popular than them. So, like, how are you going to say that you think that she would have won and all this would have happened if everyone just voted? I mean, I don't know. I just get very upset with that narrative, and I just think it's not true. And I get very upset also because people are starting to try to, like, I'm glad we're not talking about Pete Buttigieg for president anymore. I'm real happy we're not talking about that. But now everyone's kind of trying to do the same with Gavin Newsom, and they're like, oh, but he's tweeting so funny. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's funny. He's pushing back, but like, the only tangible thing he did was the redistricting, which I'm really happy he did, but that's the only thing. Like, he is not a good person. He is not a good politician. He will run to the right as soon as he gets into office, as soon as he gets any pushback. Like, he is not, like, we should not see him as some, like, as he's going to be the next person. And I'm worried that we're going to continue to just say, oh, we'll just vote blue no matter who, just keep voting blue no matter who. And we're just not going to get anywhere, and things are just not going to change. And yeah, I don't know. That's my little rant on all of that. I wanted to talk about this specifically because I feel like this is just something that a lot of libs have been doing lately, and it's very frustrating, to say the least, because we need to actually like learn from our mistakes. All right. Next we're gonna next we're gonna talk about something I don't really want. That's gonna make me so mad. Okay, you said she would have put a Republican in her cabinet. No, and she did say she would. And that's what I think. I think the Democrats just don't realize that it's not time for bipartisan politics. We're out of that time. That time is over. That time is over. We are not there. You need to be ruthless, and you need to fight back, and you need to stop following rules, and you need to stop taking corporate money. She was taking shit tons of money. What was it? From her brother-in-law or something, and once he got involved, she started getting more centrist. And so we need to get money out of politics, point blank, period. And they need to stop being so beholden to their corporate donors, and they really do. They need to stop being so beholden, and then maybe they'll actually have good views on things. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm getting so fed up with the Democrats. I really am. Yeah. He was high up in Uber. Yeah. Her brother-in-law. Yeah. And like, once he started getting into the picture, she all those like progressive things that she was saying she started to tone it down a bit. And it was very noticeable, and it was very obvious. And I think people were just done. And they wanted something different. Unfortunately, they got fascism instead. But I don't know. I don't know what to say to people like Ethan, because they just can't get it through their heads that, yes, the Democrats are different. They're not going to do fascism, right? But they'll do like fascism light. Like, they're not going to. We're going to talk about like Riley Gaines and what she said about trans people and stuff, because there was this new article by them that I want to talk about. But they're not going to like brutalize trans people, but they will throw them under the bus. But they will they will go to right-wing framing on it. They may not be as brutal as Trump on immigration, but they're still going to deport people. They're still going to deport tons of people, and they're still going to restrict people from coming in, and they're still going to be, and they're still going to send bombs overseas, and they're still going to, they're still going to, do imperialism. So like, it's not like, and then they're going to come up with incremental changes for these huge problems that they don't want to fix. And so like, yeah, they're marginally better. I will give you that. And they are marginally better for groups like trans people, because they're not going to explicitly target them, but they're also not going to protect them. And so we need a party that is actually going to protect workers, protect marginalized groups, instead of just not directly going after them. Because that's what the argument is here. It's like, well, we could either have the party who wants to like directly go after and like kill everyone and is like a death cult, or we could have the party that's like not a death cult, but like they're also not going to protect you from the death cult. Just so stupid. It's just very frustrating. But Liz Cheney, I know. And then like, yeah, it's like, and then you have Liz Cheney running around. God, it's just, oh God. You need to work out how to get rid of the Electoral College. 1000%. 1000%. I completely agree. All right. So this time we're going to talk about Patrick Bet-David talking to Benjamin Netanyahu, because this is just what goes on now. This is just what happens. War criminals just go on all these bro podcasts like it's normal. So here we go.
Whatever Israel wants, they make a phone call to America. America better do or else. Do you agree with that?
You know President Trump? You don't make him do anything. He does what he thinks is in America's interest, and he's very forceful about it.
Would the war and the Hamas attack have happened if President Trump was president instead of Biden?
Probably not, but it's hard to say with these maniacs. I think Iran would have been more careful.
I'm curious, did you know the president was going to be saying this?
We're going to take over that piece and we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs.
I'll bet you don't know this, Patrick. If America wants to come in and invest,
Yeah, let me try.
that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
So you would be okay if America takes over Gaza and it becomes something that we control. You'd be okay with that?
Yeah, but it's an American choice. Our victory will be your victory.
Why haven't you yet recognized the Armenian, Assyrian, and the Greek genocide that the Turkish did to that community? If you step foot in their country, they're supposed to arrest you. They're calling you a wartime criminal, the offenses you've done, they're calling it a genocide.
It's been a battle that has been going on for 3,500 years. So I'll have to do what we have to do. We'll fight with our fingernails if we have to. A lot of people felt in their gut, but they didn't have the guts to say it out loud.
I don't know if it's come from you, though. I don't know if it's come from the Prime Minister of Israel.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay,
Here you go.
all right. Well, thank you for doing that.
Is that better? Okay. I don't care about this part. All right. Is that better? Let me know if that
We have
sounds a little
second
bit
front
better.
war with Iran and its proxies, but this is the eighth front, the battle for truth. So that's why I'm doing it.
You know, it's interesting when you say that because
So I guess he asked him why he was on this podcast or why he's going on this podcast, and he said it's the battle for truth. Okay, sure. The music sounded louder, but no. Okay. Let me try to fix it.
when we look at a couple numbers, if we think about the Pew Research that came out a couple months ago on the unfavorability rate of Israel, they have you 24 out of 5. If I look at the number, Rob, I don't know if you have it to pull it up. If you look at the numbers, you would see the 24 country median is 62 to 29 being favorable. Why do you think so many countries are unfavorable of Israel today?
I think it's a combination
Is that
of
a little bit
historical
better?
trends, but also of the impact of social media, especially engineered social media with paid bots, and this new media environment that we're in. It has built-in parameters that really take their toll. So we're aware of that. But I think the most important thing is that for democracies to fight wars, they should be as short as possible. And my way of combating the PR war is by winning the ground war and winning it quickly.
Okay.
The quicker you win it, the better you'll come out of this assault.
So why do you think this is taking so long? Because if you think of a part of it, when you think about especially in America, there's 3 different types of people on social media right now in America that follow you. One, they fully believe you're committing a genocide right now. They're part of the community that's thinking they compare you to some dictators, some terrible leaders in the past, many names you've heard of before.
Hitler.
Some of them are blindly supportive of what you're doing, but there's the other community that's almost a little bit burned out, that's wanting this story to end. Obviously, it's tragic. You know, we're seeing what's going on. We're seeing all the stories, but why do you think this is taking longer than it's taking?
Why do you think it's taking longer than it's taking? Okay, so that was a dumb question. Also, like the part where he's like, oh, people are just getting burnt out. That made me so mad. What do you mean people are getting burnt out? Yeah, no, people want to stop seeing images of people literally starving. People where you can see their ribs and you can see their bones. It is horrific. It is horrific. And yet Israel just murdered all of the journalists that were reporting on this. So this question is insane to me. Also, how come it's taking longer than it's taking? This is a dumb question. It's just a dumb question. No. What do you mean how long what do you mean it's taking longer than it's taking? This is always their goal. This has always been their goal. This has always been their plan. This is so ridiculous. I can't watch anymore. I will commit acts I should not do. Honestly, I know. Okay. This is insane. It's like they're talking about MMA bout. I know everyone on the planet agrees that genocide is bad because of this ridiculous media environment the entire globe is in. So frustrating. No, it is so frustrating. Everyone on the planet agrees that genocide is bad because of the ridiculous media environment. Entire globe is so frustrating. Oh, okay. I do not like seeing babies dying. I know, exactly. And so wild, just like wild shit that I hate that him going on these podcasts has just become normalized now. That like he's just some like normal person. Didn't Mark Maron say that like if Hitler were still around today, he would be on Theo Von's podcast? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where we're at. That's where we're at today.
Well, I don't think
Also, let me know if the sound is better. Hopefully it is.
it's taken longer than it's taken. Look at what we had to fight. We were attacked viciously by the most savage attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. That's by Hamas on October 7th. I said on the second day of the war when Hezbollah joined the fray, I said we're going to change the face of the Middle East because it was clear to me, and it may be clear to you too, that we're fighting the Iran axis.
This is not true. Okay, but we can follow you. Are you louder than but we can follow. Okay, you were just louder than the video. Okay, thank you. I would love to see BB bundled in handcuffs on a podcast. Honestly, I really want, like, if Zoran, I hope Zoran wins, but I really wish that he would like arrest him. Like, actually, I think that'd be really fun. Okay, we're actually gonna speed this up because I don't know if I can do this. BB swatted live, honestly. Poopy But David. Oh, that's a good one. Poopy But David doing another car salesman style interview. Yes. Okay, let's see if 2 times will help this out.
Iran, Iran.
No, that's too fast. Okay, wait, sorry. I cannot keep up. Okay, let's see. Let's do this now. Okay.
I would say that all the axes, all the boxes collapse. Hezbollah collapses, Hamas collapses, Assad collapses, and so on.
No, that's not true.
So it was clear to me that we had to topple the Iran axis and not just deal with Hamas. And what's this?
Yeah, and so essentially what he's trying to say is that even like this, that he's gonna keep going because he just bombed Yemen the other day. He's gonna keep talking about Iran, but like that, like I feel like this signals that like he's going to keep going, and it's not just going to stay, and it hasn't stayed contained to Palestine, but he's going to keep going. He's going to start doing more shit in Iran and Yemen, and that's the problem. And Good Liars versus BB, I would literally pay to watch that. But yeah, and so like I think he's just showing this, and the reason he's saying all this is because he wants a reason, he wants an excuse to go after all these other countries, and so this is what he's doing.
What happened following that was that we went in, Hamas is in its last breath, we haven't finished it yet, but we crippled Hamas. Then we went and finished off Hezbollah, took out Nasrallah. That led to the collapse of the Assad regime, whose armaments we destroyed. The Syrian army's armaments. We dealt with the Houthis, still dealing with them. And then we had Iran itself that had struck us, and we had to strike back. And as you see, we changed the face of the Middle East. Not only...
Yeah, no, you are brutalizing every country around you. You are brutalizing every single country around you, and you are acting like it's in some like you're some savior for doing so. And his own society is against him, and I also think a part of this continuing to bomb other countries is to also so he can stay in power, because he wants to keep staying in power. He wants there to not because he's going to have to go to trial, or he may go to jail whenever he gets out of power. And so he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to do that. And so he's like, well, if I just keep this going, then it'll be fine. I don't think that's the whole reason, but I do think that is a little bit of a part of it. Greater Israel. Yeah. It's like he does not think everyone knows Israel has been occupying force for decades and the only one attacking others. It is, and like that's why he has to go on places like PBD and like who were those guys? I already forgot their names. But that's why he has to go on these podcasts, because they are not like, not that the mainstream media pushes back really at all, actually, but they're starting to push back a little bit more now, kind of. But it's more than it was previously. And so that's why he has to go to people like this, because he wants a softball interview, because he doesn't want people correcting him, because he doesn't want people pushing back on him, because he just wants to keep spreading these lies, even though nobody is on his side. Like his support is dwindling so fast, and I feel like this is just out of desperation. Like going on these podcasts is out of desperation.
Because we hobbled the proxies, but because Iran, which was
also, I don't think people like PBD God, why can't I remember their names? Are equipped to do this interview. Like, I'm not equipped to do this interview. Like, I feel like I know a lot about this, but like, I'm not equipped to do that interview. I wouldn't be equipped. I mean, I think I would push back and get very angry, so it wouldn't be productive. But like, I know I'm not equipped to do something like that. But like PBD and God, I still can't remember the Nelk Boys. Thank you so much. Oh my God, the Nelk Boys. They're not equipped to handle an interview like this. Now, I would love to see Crystal Ball interview. That would be like the best day ever. But at least I think Patrick David knows a little bit more about like, he knows a little bit more, but I also think that like, he's not going to push. He's going to like pretend like he's pushing back, or pretend like he's asking hard questions, but like not actually. Like when he said, I still just can't believe he said that. How come this is taking longer than it's taking? Like, what does that even mean, bro? Okay. Oh, God. He just won territories or country of Libya, Syria, Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Kuwait. Yeah.
totally invincible enemy throwing its weight around, not only in the Middle East, spreading terror everywhere, and trying to arm itself with nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles to deliver them.
Yeah, no, they should have I think they should have nuclear weapons, and people wouldn't I mean, I'm not a fan of nuclear weapons. I don't like nuclear weapons. I don't think it's good that any of us have them at all. But I do think that if they did have them, the situation would not be what it is, because like no one's going to go attack North Korea, that's why we're not attacking. That's why we don't have like boots on the ground in Russia, because it would be a nuclear war. And so if Iran had a nuclear bomb, then, well, Israel probably wouldn't be bombing them now, would they? Because then that could cause a nuclear war. If the U.S. got them, everybody must have them. Yes, and I think a lot of people don't know that we're the only country to use one. I think a lot of people don't know that, which is kind of crazy. But it's like, yeah, no, we're the only country to ever use one.
We struck them very hard. So when you fight these 4 fronts, and there are another 3, by the way, that I haven't mentioned, when you're doing that, a small country, it takes time. But I think we're approaching the final leg, and that's really finishing off Hamas. We can't have those.
Yeah, no, they've killed, like this. This is just so psychotic to still say, oh, we're finishing off Hamas. They've killed most Hamas members. And also Hamas only, they're also creating more Hamas members, because people who this is happening to are probably willing to join Hamas now, because their whole family has been murdered. And so this is just so insane. And I think it's so frustrating, because they literally bombed a hospital the other day, and then bombed it a second time. But they said it was because there were Hamas cameras. They said that the cameras were Hamas, and so that's why they bombed it. And which is crazy, which is insane. And like people, like there are some people who are like, yeah, I don't know about this. I mean, yeah, it's kind of bad, right? Because, you know, Ethan Klein, he's not going to come out here and say anything about that, even though he was saying that Israel would never bomb a hospital. No, they bombed it twice, and they did it like, at first they denied it and they said it was an accident, but then they said, no, the cameras were Hamas. And it was because those journalists, they were the journalists who were there. They were the ones who were reporting on the famine. And I think it was Reuters, one of their journalists was murdered in that. And I think it was one of their cameras that they're saying is a Hamas camera. And Reuters didn't even they were like, oh yeah, maybe it was a Hamas camera. What are you saying? Your colleague literally just got murdered, and you're like, yeah, I don't know, maybe it was okay though. Ridiculous, just ridiculous shit. And the other, I don't know who it was, but I know it's been making the rounds on a lot of the shows. I forgot who said this, but there was someone who was talking about, they were getting interviewed, and it was someone in the Israeli government, and they said, because they were asking about children getting murdered, and they said, well, they were Hamas children. They were children of Hamas. And the person was like, wait a second. Like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, so just because they're the children of Hamas leaders, you think it's okay to murder them? And the guy was like, sure, yeah, whatever. I just like, how much more? Like, I just don't understand how they can keep getting away with this. It's honestly, it's despicable, truly. I think the ignorance about the bomb is only an American thing. Yeah, you're right. Why is he not in jail yet? Honestly, he should be. Again, if Zoran wins, I really hope Benjamin Netanyahu tries to go to New York. Because that would be a fun day.
Monsters at spitting distance from Tel Aviv and our communities. And we're going to finish it.
Yeah, so when you say that, for a person that lived in Iran, I look at the critics and they're giving, hey, let me tell you, it's not fair what he's doing with this. And you see ICC, which the average person, when they see ICC, 124 countries, that if you step foot in their country, they're supposed to arrest you, okay?
Yes.
And they're calling you a wartime criminal, the offenses you've done, the amount of, again, like I said earlier, they're calling it a genocide.
He is. No, but like it is. And he is. And the ICC is correct. And the only countries that have really voted against it are America and Israel. I think there's one other country that sometimes votes against everyone else, but I don't remember what country that was. But it's always America and Israel, and that's like it. And every other country is like, yeah, no, we should probably stop this. And then America's like, no, you can't stop imperialism, baby.
How do you answer to the critics that they don't follow politics, they don't follow the stories closely, but if they see
they don't follow it closely.
That if you land there, they're supposed to...
No. The people who are upset about this, are not following it closely. Also, I don't think you have to follow it closely. You can just go on Instagram and you can scroll through your page and you see people who are literally starving. I don't really think that you have to know much. I think when you look at those images and when you see people getting shot when they're just trying to get aid, I feel like that explains a lot. I feel like you don't, I mean, like, he's wrong. I think the people who are invested and who are paying attention are the ones who are mad and get upset about this and are the ones protesting and are the ones spreading the word. But also, I'm sure there are a ton of normies that have changed their mind, that have changed their outlook on this after seeing those images online. I'm sure there are. So it's like, no, actually, you don't have to know. You don't have to pay attention all the time to think this is horrific. Like, you just don't. But he's like setting this question up of like, oh, well, these people don't know anything. So like what they're saying is wrong. It's so insane. I have some doubt that the NYPD would actually comply with orders to arrest him. Yeah, you're right. And they would probably, and like Trump would probably most definitely get involved at that point. So I do think it would like cause some shit. It would stir some shit, but you never know. Well, yeah, because there was that one Israeli cabinet member that was like it was like a sexual predator in Las Vegas. They sent him. He got to leave. He got to leave and go back to Israel because I don't know. Crazy. Just, just insane. True Crystal. Yes. Oh my God. I would oh my God. I would be so, oh God, I wish. Of course he would never do that. Like Benjamin Netanyahu would never do that. But like, you can dream.
The rescue. The average person's going to say, maybe this isn't a good guy.
Yeah. I said that about Churchill too. He was a warmonger.
Oh God. I feel like Churchill. Yeah, no, Churchill wasn't a good guy. So like, maybe you shouldn't be using that comparison.
Talking about the German Axis and the danger to the West, he said that he warned of the slumber of democracies. And I guess if I learned one thing from our history...
Slumber of democracies. See, that's the part I don't get. So he's trying to say that like, oh... I'm sorry. Okay. PBD is a pyramid scheme bandit. Yes, very true. Yes, very true, Crystal. Yes. Mehdi. Yes, Mehdi would also be a great person to interview him, but I feel like that would never happen either.
The history of the Jewish people is that you can't sleep. When somebody says they're out to annihilate you, you better take it seriously and act to prevent it. And that's a central lesson that we learned in the rebirth of the Jewish state and the Jewish people in Israel. We don't wait to be annihilated. We take forceful action against our would-be annihilators. And I think that,
what I really hate the most, I think, is that they're using the atrocity of the Holocaust to basically, like, excuse their genocide. And I don't, like, it's just so despicable, and there are so many Jewish people who are like, I don't condone this, and I do not want you using our history to excuse this. And so it's just so despicable.
After you realize your vision, then people say, well, yeah, we begin to understand it, but they don't before. And that's certainly true of the case here. In the United Nations, you have 180 countries, 190 countries, and a great majority will tell you that the Earth is flat. It doesn't make it flat. And the notification...
Wait, what? I have not heard this argument before in my life. Wait, what? Wait. That is an insane argument. All these other countries are going to tell you the Earth is flat? Are you that, like, can you not think of anything better to say? Are you that desperate? Like, that's a wild thing to say. That's like, okay, man. Okay. Dude, what the, like, this is your response? Okay, sure. Okay.
Against Israel is a country committing genocide and other war crimes. That doesn't make it true either. Let me tell you, did you ask me about the ICC prosecution just now? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you about that. So we were going to have this ICC prosecutor, who's since been basically put to pasture. This ICC prosecutor was going to come to Israel in the beginning of the war, and he said, well, Israel has a proper judicial system, and I don't see any real problem there. And he was about to come, and a day before he's about to come, he suddenly cancels the trip, and 2 days later he issues this war crimes charge against me and the former defense minister. And
yeah, because he probably didn't want to go there. He probably didn't. I don't see what's so crazy about this.
I didn't understand, why did he do it? It took us months to discover that a few days before that, he was confronted by one of his staff members, the senior staff members, who brought the charges of rape and sexual misconduct that this prosecutor carried out against one of his staff members, a Malaysian woman, by the way, who was fiercely anti-Israel, but she had suffered this harassment and these rapes for over a year. Khan believed that this was his ruin. His brother, who's a British parliamentarian, was in jail for sexual misconduct too. So he said, that's it, that's the end of it. And then he figured out that there's one way to get out of this, and that is to deflect.
Oh, okay, I see what he's saying. So he's saying that woman used it as blackmail. Okay, this is an insane excuse. Like, this has nothing to, so he's essentially saying that the only reason that this arrest warrant, the ICC arrest warrant, is out for him is because there was the guy who issued the arrest warrant, one of his staffers, he was assaulting them, and she used it as blackmail for him to issue that arrest warrant. I think that's cope. I don't think that's true. I think obviously he should be arrested. Obviously, there should be a warrant out for his arrest. And I just think, I don't know. I don't know much about her, and I don't know much about that. So I'm not really sure. But it's just not true. He deserves to be arrested. He deserves to have an arrest warrant. And this is just cope, and this is just fluff, and has nothing to do with him being a war criminal. He is a war criminal. That's it.
Preempted by blaming the Jews and blaming the Prime Minister.
No, they're blaming you. They're blaming you. And they're also blaming the Israeli government. That's what they're doing. The arrest warrant was out for you, for being a war criminal.
What he did. Since then, you should know that there have been 4 or 5 other women who charged him with sexual misconduct. So what you have here is...
Okay, so then he should go to jail too. Then he should also be in jail. Then, like, you both should be in jail. Okay? And that doesn't negate the warrant out for your arrest for being a war criminal. It doesn't do it.
A corrupt organization, totally politicized, unelected, that wants to...
He sounds just like Trump. It's a corrupt organization. It's totally politicized.
Basically preempt the sovereignty of nations, and that's why the United States is not a member. They won't tell the United States that its soldiers are committing war crimes because some woke people in The Hague are telling you that. This ICC, this corrupt ICC...
Can you say some woke people? Oh my God. What is life right now?
Thought that he would escape justice by basically by condemning us, and that's what he's done. And I think a lot of the countries are waking up to that. It's sort of embarrassing when your chief prosecutor is doing such a corrupt and heinous thing. But that's it.
Like this has to be like out of desperation, right? Because like nobody is on his side. Like absolutely no one is on his side anymore. Like, well, I mean, some people are, but it's like very minuscule, right? And he keeps losing more and more people every day. And so is it just like delusion that he's like, oh, these states are coming to their senses? Or is he just lying because he thinks PBD's audience is stupid, which they're not, actually. They're not. Well, not on this issue, because we're going to look at their comments in a second, because that's where people are not happy with Patrick Bet-David, let's just say.
The ICC, I mean, President Trump has put sanctions on him. He's put sanctions on the judges who did this. I think he's just facing it. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, no. We're putting sanctions on them to protect a war criminal. Sounds about right.
Corrupt prosecutors, corrupt judges, and reminds me of that movie. You remember Network? I think.
Yes.
He said, we're not going to take it anymore. And it's not just Israel, because if they target Israel and they say to a democracy defending itself against these savages, you can't defend yourself, then no democracy is safe, and America isn't safe. So,
That's such bullshit. That's such bullshit. Such bullshit. And I'm sorry, but Israel's not a democracy. When you have an apartheid, you don't have a democracy. You can't be a democracy if you have an apartheid. You just can't. You cannot. It's not a democracy. Also, they don't allow people to get they don't allow gay people to get married in Israel. Also, Brianna Wu, she's trans, and when she went to she's been like huge pro-Israel supporter. She went to Israel, all this stuff. She like I forgot what happened to her, but something happened to her and she got like harassed while she was there or something. Like this notion that Israel is just like this bastion of like freedom and is a real democracy and the only democracy in the Middle East is not true. It's not true at all. And they also like they don't have free speech. They don't have free media or anything like that. They've been murdering all of the journalists in Palestine and Gaza that have spoken out, and they want to come on and be like, no, we're for free press. We just like, when it's Hamas, when they're backed by Hamas, then they're terrorists. And it's like, no, you're calling them Hamas because they're correctly reporting that you are creating a famine, that this is a man-made famine that you are creating. I don't know how much more I can do of this. I don't know how much more I can do of this.
I think that's come out. There is extraordinary vilification, extraordinary lies leveled at Israel, and they're meant to prevent us from exercising our right.
No. No, and our democracy is more under threat from our own government. Just like Israel, their democracy is more under threat of their own government. They're a lot of people who were there, I think, have fled. Now I don't know if they can anymore, but there were a lot of people who were like leaving because they were going to ban people from leaving Israel. And so there were some people who like got out. There were some people who like rushed to get out. I remember when that was happening. But they were rushing to get out because you don't like people who don't want to live in that society. They don't want to live in a society where, you know, where, I mean, obviously they feel, you know, they do feel unsafe, but they don't want to be in that society where like you have people starving right across the border from you, and you're just throwing bombs in every country around you. Like you're just brutalizing every country around you. People don't want to, like, that is also a threat to Israelis and Israeli citizens. And so why would they want to stay there? And so the only threat to democracy is our own, is like in Israel is their own government. The threat to democracy in America is our own government. Okay. If we that's what this is. Like our own governments are what we should be scared of, ruining our democracy, because that's what they're doing.
The legitimate right for you to defend yourself. You'll see the numbers. I'm a business guy. I'll see how this war has cost you roughly $120 to $130 billion, whether it's Hamas, Gaza, Iran, roughly $120 to $130 billion, reports that we read. Your debt to GDP ratio went from 60% to 75%. So some of the Americans, they're sitting there saying, yeah, we give you guys roughly $3.8 billion. For the war, America's given roughly $30 billion, which most of it was in weapons. But if you go from 60 to 75%, how much longer can your economy or even the state be able to afford the war?
Patrick, I'm going to have some good news for you.
Please.
I led as first as foreign finance minister and then as prime minister a free market revolution in Israel.
Oh my
Israel
God.
became a wealthy country because we unleashed the
Free market doesn't exist, but anyway, carry on.
genius in our population and innovators and just an incredible capacity to produce products and services.
Oh my God.
Medicine and communications. That cell phone that you probably
Just answer the question.
And the cherry tomatoes that you eat they were made in Israel and so on, and medicines that you use made in Israel.
Answer the question.
A powerhouse, a juggernaut of innovation and enterprise, and it strengthened our economy. We went from $17,000 per capita to about $60,000 in a very short time. It's a tremendous success.
He's not answering the question.
This is something I just saw. A slide. I wish I had it here. Too bad. But the slide shows investments in R&D that a country receives from foreign sources. So number one is the United States, like huge. Number two, in absolute terms, now as we speak today, is Israel, tiny Israel. The next country is Germany. It's 2/3 of Israel, and the rest of the Western countries fall further and further behind. So our economy is actually doing quite well, I should say. And it's amazing, and you're right to ask it.
Yeah, because because our tax dollars are paying for all the weapons.
There was an economic miracle in Israel, which I'm very proud to have led, and we just have this resilient capacity, both in our economy, but also in our fighting spirit. We've gone through the Holocaust, and I'm committed, as are my people, to prevent a second Holocaust that Iran was planning.
See, now he's going after. See, now he's saying Iran. Now he's saying Iran. He's moving the goalposts. Now he's saying Iran. If you notice that, he stopped saying Palestine. He stopped saying Gaza. He stopped saying Hamas. Now he's just saying Iran. He's saying now Iran. He said we need to make sure Iran doesn't do that. So he's gonna keep going after Iran, which is why it's crazy that Donald Trump keeps saying that he stopped the Iran war and he stopped all these wars and Iran isn't in war because of me. No, dude, like you stopped it for the time being, but like this shit is not gonna end. This shit is not ending. Like if you think Benjamin Netanyahu is just gonna say, oh no, never mind, we're not gonna mess with Iran anymore. Like that's not, obviously he has his eyes set on it. So obviously that's what he's gonna do.
What we've been doing in this war. It's taken this long because we had to break this noose of death that Iran was going to put on us in their plans to conquer the Middle East.
You bombed them first.
Their plans to then proceed to Europe, and in their plans to then proceed to America. They say
they are not. Oh my god. I've had to explain this to people. I'm like, Iran is not going. They're not going to attack us. First of all, they're really far away. So that's not, it's not gonna come over here. Number one. Number two, like, I think people are scared of like, terror attacks or whatever. And like, I don't know, most terror attacks are homegrown. So, we should talk about that more. But like, I just like, this notion that somehow Iran is going to come over here and like take over America or is like a threat to America is not true. Is not true, like at all. And, like I'm not saying that the Iranian government is good because of course they're also a dictatorship. They're also authoritarian. But like America is a part of the reason that they have that government. And I just like, it's just very frustrating because You say that you want Israel to be like the sovereign nation and you just don't want anyone to come after you and you just want to be safe. And yet you keep going after Iran and you keep saying we need to go after Iran. We need to get rid of Iran and all this kind of stuff. And you're just going to keep going. He's just going to keep going. Then he's going to go to Yemen. And so I think it's terrifying that he keeps talking about Iran. He's no longer talking about Palestine. He's no longer talking about Gaza. Now he's talking about Iran because that's his next target. And so this is just gonna keep going. This is just going to keep going. They're showing so much restraint. Yeah, I don't know if that was a joke or if you were talking about Iran, but yeah, no,
Death to America. We're just standing in their way, and more than we stand in their way.
So I guess a question to kind of move on from this one. Do you see yourself, if you're saying the war is not going on for too long, if this thing takes a couple more years, do you see yourself getting to a point that you're going to need to the American taxpayers and need more money and support, or are you able to sustain the expenditure that you have right now?
Yeah, I think we've organized that, and we're perfectly able to do that. I want you to know one other thing. I think Israel is different from your other allies. We spend an inordinate amount of our GDP, inordinate amount, to defend ourselves. I think one of your senators said something very, very true. He said, if we had in Israel, next to in Afghanistan, or if we had another Israel there, we wouldn't spend $1 trillion or trillions of dollars. Israel is receiving and is very grateful for the American military assistance, about $3.8 billion a year.
Yeah, 3.8 billion of our tax dollars. 3.8 billion of our tax dollars. You want to go to school? Too bad. We got to give Israel $3.8 billion.
That's the deal. So it helps American industries. But we also produce these incredible weapons that we share with the United States. We produce intel that is invaluable for the United States. You're familiar with the Five Eyes, Patrick?
No, I think so. He kind of got off the thing he just said there, but he said that I guess one of someone in the American government said that if there was an Israel in next to Afghanistan, then we wouldn't have had to invade them. That's such horse shit. And whoever said that, whatever politician said that, knows it's horse shit. They know it's horse shit. That's not true. Okay, that's not true at all. And no, we went there because we were the imperialist nation in that scenario, because we wanted to occupy them, because we wanted to take their natural resources. And so no, I mean, Israel might have helped us if there was like an Israel over there, but like to say that like that wouldn't have happened if there was an Israel near there is so insane, because the whole reason that happened is because we were the ones who wanted to occupy them. Oh God. And it's just, I like trying to rewrite that is so insane. Like after everyone knows the truth now, it's just so insane.
All these countries that are part of the American intelligence system, well, there's a sixth of us, Israel. It's a very powerful eye. And we share our intel with the American intelligence services.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Is he going to ask another question? I can't do this. This is driving me crazy. Okay, let's see what question he's going to ask.
It's going to go on for a long, long time. As far as I'm concerned, for all time.
Prime Minister, what do you say to the critics who say, Israel owns America, Israel makes America do things they want?
Okay, this is the last question we're going to do, because I just can't listen to this man anymore. I just can't listen to this man anymore. It's so crazy. Well, we'll see. But I did want to listen to this question because this is one of the questions that's been kind of making the rounds online.
To do, whether it's through AIPAC, whether it's through, funding, money, you'll typically hear this. This has been overly said the last couple of years in a major way. And there's a community of Americans that at this point believe that whatever Israel wants, they make a phone call to America. America better do or else. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely not. I think it's full of hokum.
Okay. So I do think that this, maybe PBD will ask Big Mac or Whopper. Honestly, that was such, oh God. That was such a horrible moment for them. I just can't believe they asked that question. But this, I do think like, cause Anna Kasparian kind of had a tweet like this where she was like, Israel is controlling America. And I don't think I don't think I pushed back on that enough, or I don't think I had a good response to that when I went over it. And I've been thinking about that. And so I kind of wanted to like talk about this. I do think that the whole like Israel controls America thing is a very slippery slope. Because that can get in that very much, like, I do think Anna was inching or was saying things because it was that kind of gets to like anti-Semitic territory. Do I think that Israel and America have shared goals? Yes. Do I think that America is like an imperialist nation that wants to control like every other country? Yes. Wants to control their resources? Yes. And so if our ally Israel ends up occupying all these different countries with all these natural resources, then of course we are going to benefit. So we have shared goals. So I don't think that Israel necessarily controls America. I think to some extent America controls Israel, and like if America were to actually do something and push back on Bibi, that things could change. But I do think that that America and Israel have shared goals. So I don't necessarily think it's like Israel controlling America. Now, do I think AIPAC has a shit ton of power in our politics and it shouldn't? Yes. Do I think it should be designated as a foreign lobby? Yes. Do I think that like they should not be allowed to like have as much impact and throw as much money into these races as they do? Yes. But I do think that notion of Israel just controlling everything and controls everything in America and we just have no say and they just control everything, I do think that starts going towards anti-Semitic territory, only because there's it's like that conspiracy theory, and it's in the Elders of Zion of like, Jewish people control everything and they control the world and blah blah blah, and it's just not. I just want to be careful of that, and I want to be mindful of that. And so I do think that like when Anna was saying that, she was trying to be provocative, because a lot of right-wingers are saying that, and that's how a lot of right-wingers are attacking this situation. And so I just wanted to point that out, because I do think that that's become like the narrative. And I do think we need to like be more nuanced about that in particular, because I think America has a lot of control and a lot of power in this situation. We're just not yielding it. Anna is more reactionary than she is educational at this point. 1,000%. Yes, 100%. Okay.
So, President Trump? I've known him for many years, sure. You don't make him do anything. He does what he thinks is in America's interest, and he's very forceful about it. When he sees allies who don't step up to the plate, he's not shy about saying it. And we have a different relationship.
I think he keeps insinuating, like, I think all these like allies or these other allies, I think he's talking about you. Is he talking about Ukraine? Is he trying to like, is that what he's doing? I can't tell, but a part of me is like, is he talking about Ukraine?
Altogether. It's not one of coercion or a manipulation. It's one of common interests and common values.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least here, I think he's telling the truth. Like, yeah, I know it is. It's one of common interest and common values. Like, yeah, of course. Like, America just wants to dominate. Israel just wants to dominate. And so they have shared values. And they have a shared, not America's interest, Trump interest. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And so, yeah. I definitely think that this is something, it's mutually beneficial for both. Well, I mean, I don't think it's beneficial for anyone actually, but in the terms of like Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu and like in the governments in America and Israel, it's mutually beneficial in that aspect.
I think that people understand that, because Israel is different. It really is. We know that we have to fight for ourselves. And we do. But when we fight for ourselves, we fight for you too. Because we fight Iran.
That's okay. I need to find that part, because there is part where he actually just says like, we can have people investing in Gaza, which is like psychotic.
Proxies, this anti-American empire that threatens to.
Okay. Let's see if when he asked that, because I think that's a very telling question.
So Israel is the badger of the international scene. It has the fortitude, the will to fight our enemies because of our history. Because for so long we didn't have a state, we didn't have an army.
He also does Holocaust revisionism as well. So I think it's insane that he's actually like, he's using the Holocaust as an excuse And then he also does like a Holocaust revisionism. Like, didn't he say that it was actually like the Muslim leaders that like told Hitler to do the Holocaust, or that, or whatever, that it was, or convinced Hitler to blame Jewish people or something? Like, just insane shit. And he's like, said, like, again, he said shit like this. So it's like, you don't actually care. You're using this horrific history so cynically, and it's just very disgusting. It's disgusting, honestly.
Didn't have the ability to defend ourselves, which culminated in this crescendo of massacres that culminated in the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust, in which a third of our people were annihilated. We have that in our bones, in our hearts, in our soul, and we fight. So that's I think President Trump would like to see more Israels around the globe, because, everybody who says, America first, I can respect that, but I don't think they want America alone. And if you didn't have
well, then you don't know. Then you don't know them. You don't know them. Then you want, everyone keeps saying America first. Yeah, no, listen. He's like, but I don't think they want America to be alone. Yes, they do. Have you not listened? Do you not hear what they say? What?
allies that actually share your values and fight for them in various parts of the world, and especially in the Middle East with Iran trying to take over the world, I think that's valuable.
Iran is not trying to take over the world. They are not trying to take, that is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. They are not trying to take over the world. That's, oh my God. It's just like, oh, look at these brown people. They're trying to take over the world. Aren't you scared? Aren't you scared? Just, oh God.
So, it'll take time for this to sink in, but it will sink in.
Yeah, the topic of America First, it's become a little bit more clear where people are being put in different groups, America First and America Only, and that debate's going on right now, which is a great debate. I actually like listening to both sides make their argument. What you said, do you think President Trump is the type of a man that you can get anything you want to make and do what he wants? I don't think President Trump is, but I do think Biden and others are. So the whole criticism of the fact that Israel, whatever they want, they can call America.
Okay, this is a good part too.
But with Biden. So maybe a question that I don't think has been asked yet. Putin was asked 2 weeks ago if the war between Ukraine and Russia would have happened under Trump. He said no, it wouldn't have happened. So for you, would the war and the Hamas attack have happened if President Trump was president instead of Biden?
I don't know. It's a good question, but you said something about Biden that...
I don't know. It's a good question. I hate this. Obviously, Putin was lying. Obviously, Putin just said that to manipulate Donald Trump because he likes his ego to be stroked, okay? Like, obviously that is not true. This is something that Putin is like, has ideologically wanted for a very long time. This is something Putin has wanted for a very long time, to say that it wouldn't happen. Like, I was literally talking to my dad about this yesterday. We were talking and I was like, well, see, because him and my mom used to always be like, well, he's going to stop the wars. And I kept saying, no, he's not. And they kept saying, well, the Ukraine wouldn't have happened under Trump. And I said, yes, it would have. And so now it's really funny because they're like, wow, yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing we can do. I mean, Putin's just not going to stop. And I was like, Interesting. He couldn't just stop the war in 2 days. Interesting that he admitted that this was harder than he thought or whatever. I'm like, dude, it was an obvious lie from the very beginning, okay? Okay? No one, there is no way you can just be like, oh, I'm just going to stop a war in 2 days. Like, shut up. That is not true. And of course it didn't matter who was president. It was going to happen because this is something that Putin has been wanting for a very long time. And so, I just, it's so insane to me, and it's so insane to me that people actually believed that. And so now a lot of the same people are like, oh, well, man, Putin is just a bad guy. He's just a bad guy. And I'm like, I mean, he is a bad guy, but it's insane to think that somehow Donald Trump can strongman these other strong men into doing what he wants when he obviously can't. And I think Vladimir Putin saying that to Trump was literally just to manipulate him and glaze him, because he literally, as he was on his way back to Russia, started bombing Ukraine again. So, I mean, he wasn't even in Russia before he started bombing Ukraine again. So, Donald Trump has no power over that man whatsoever. And I don't like Biden, but I think he had even less than Biden, honestly. And so it's this is this is so insane. And then to ask Benjamin Netanyahu to ask Benjamin Netanyahu if this wouldn't have started if it was under Trump is insane. Because there has been an apartheid for decades. So what do you mean? What do you this didn't just happen. This isn't something that just like, oh, it just happened. Like no, this would have happened under any president as well, because this has been happening. And so it didn't just like pop up one day and like, oh, now shit's going on in Israel and Palestine. No. There's been an apartheid for decades. So I hate this question, and I hate that he was like, well, I don't know. Like, at least he wasn't honest, because if he was honest, he would have been like, well, no, it wouldn't happen no matter what. But at least he's like, well, I don't know. Oh my God.
I should just point out the facts. In fact, President Biden supported us in the beginning of the war after this horrific massacre, and he came here, and I very much appreciate it. But as the war progressed and the vilifications of Israel, the distortions on the media began to pile on, he began to take a different course. And when we...
and that's the funniest thing. We were just talking about Kamala Harris, and we were just talking about Biden and how they lost the election. And we were talking about how part of the reason that they lost the election was because they would not change course on Palestine. And now, after doing everything this man wanted you to do, after not listening to your base, not listening to your constituents, after all of that, after losing an election, this man is saying, well, he didn't do enough. Crazy shit. And everyone was saying Biden is like, doing anything Benjamin Netanyahu wants. He's not pushing back at all. He keeps lying, saying, oh, we're working on a ceasefire. Bullshit from day one. He did all of that. And there were so many people saying, Benjamin Netanyahu wants Trump to win. He's going to try to help Trump win. He wants Trump to win. Why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? This is detrimental. And you keep going. And this is the outcome. He's like, oh, well, they didn't. Well, Biden changed course at the end. Did he? Because I don't think he did. Did he? No, he just lied. Wild. Unfortunately, I don't think Biden even could comprehend what this man's saying right now. But goddamn.
We're just 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way in Gaza. I said we have to go into that last position that they had, where they had organized battalions. It's in a city called Rafah, in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. And he said, don't go there. And he said, if you do go there, I'll smack an embargo on you. Now, you're fighting a 7-hour war, and all of a sudden you're slapped with an embargo of weapons. That was tough. And I said to President Biden, who I've known for many years, I respect the fact you're the President of the United States, but I'm the Prime Minister of the one and only Jewish state, and we've been fighting to survive in our small place under the sun. It's been a battle that has been going on for 3,500 years. So I'll have to do what we have to do. And then a few days later, Tony Blinken, who was the Secretary of State then to Israel,
another war criminal.
President is serious about this embargo.
I wish. Okay, let's see. There was one last question. God, he talks a lot. From a person who talks a lot, Jesus Christ, he talks a lot. And he just goes in circles. I guess he's still a politician. So I guess.
I appreciate it. And I think President Trump does what he thinks is good for America. I don't think that. I know that for a fact. He's a great leader.
So going back to that, I want to clarify this again. So you said
this
you don't know whether Hamas October 7th attack would have happened under Trump. So you're saying Hamas would have had the audacity, even under Trump, to have attacked, or no, they would have feared him?
Probably not, but it's hard to say with these maniacs. You can't quite tell.
Probably not. And you can tell he doesn't believe it either. You can tell that he's trying to get off of this, because he's like, no, this would have happened no matter what. We've been wanting to do this for a very long time. So crazy.
I think Iran would have been more careful. And Iran is the patron. Would they have controlled completely?
The most recent war or whatever that happened with Iran, they started. They literally started it. Like, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Their client, their proxy. Maybe not. Maybe they would have, possibly. But look, I think President Trump just has changed the posture of America. America is back on the global scene. America is resumed its powerful position among the nations. And I think that's for the good. Because
Has
one
it?
of the tragedies for the Jewish people was that in the first half
Literally, we're going to isolate every single person in this whole entire world except for Israel. Like, sooner or later, our only ally will be Israel. Like, we're just going to, like, oh my God.
century, America was not the dominant global power. And the worst tragedy in the history of mankind, the World War II,
When?
Took place, and I don't think it was accidental. And the worst
Oh,
tragedy
in
the
World War
history of
II?
Holocaust took place.
Or
In
when
the second
Biden?
half of the 20th century, America emerged as the dominant power on the earth, and Israel came into being. And as a result, our history has changed. We no longer are massacred with impunity. We now have the ability to defend ourselves, and we are very fortunate to have
Yeah, no, we know. we just massacre everybody else.
a strong ally, the United States, with successive presidents. We've had our differences, as I said, but overall, there's been a very strong alliance through all presidents. But it's never been stronger. It's never been so intimate and so powerful as it is now under President Trump.
So you've been prime minister while President Clinton was in the White House. Biden.
Okay, there
Obama.
was like one last part that I wanted to see. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm done. I can't watch this anymore. It's very depressing. But I just can't do it. But there was one part where he says that well, you know, would you take American investments in, he says Israel, but he means like Palestine. And he was like, yeah, of course. He's like, so you would let America control Palestine and like take it over? And he was like, yeah, I mean, that's America's choice. That's America's option. Excuse me. And I think that's like the most nefarious part of this, because I do think that, that whole Trump Gaza thing, you know, where they were doing hotels, the AI video, like, I do actually think that that's probably what they're going to do, because like Jared Kushner, I know that weren't like, it wasn't he or someone he was working with, they were looking to develop over there, and so that's like, I do think that that's their ultimate goal, is to like take over Palestine and just make it like, I don't know, just like something that it like they're going to take it over, and they're going to turn it into some like Trump resort shit. And it's just devastating, and I do think it's really nefarious, and I do think that like that's what he was alluding to. And so I don't know where that is within this, but I just can't listen to this anymore. I can't do it anymore. It's just too much for me. It's just too much. But yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu went on another freaking podcast, went on another bro podcast. At least this one, you know, I'm not a fan of PBD, but at least his questions were actually like relevant and not like, what burger place do you like? You know, like, I don't know, like at least they were questions. I mean, they were leading questions, but at least they were, you know, topical. So, you know, I guess he's got that going for him. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. He's a war criminal. He should be arrested. And yeah. I wasn't valued. You were valued. No, I'm not valued. I'm not. I'm just disgusted, and I'm disgusted that that this man is allowed to just go on these podcasts and just come to America and just like, God, no, I'm not valued. I'm mad is what I am. Okay, well, all right, so now let's see, what are we gonna get into now? We are going to get into some of the news stories of the day. So that's what we're gonna get into next. All right, so we are going to talk about today. There's some more sad news. We're just going from depressing to even more depressing. So there was a mass shooting in America. Surprise, surprise. And 2 children were killed and 17 were injured in Minneapolis school shooting. So school's back in session. And of course, that in America, that means school shootings, which is just horrific. And we're going to watch this and we're going to watch and talk about it. But there's a lot of other elements to this. The shooter, they think, was trans. And now, I don't know. That Kash Patel is saying that. There's some other people saying that. I don't know if that's necessarily true. But that's what's being reported. Which, of course, anybody can be a school shooter because in America, everybody has guns. And so... trans people are 1% of the population. The majority of shooters are cis white males. So it's kind of ridiculous to single this person out, but they were also on very far right wing message boards, and they were a Nazi. And so I do think it's important to also add that, because anybody can be a Nazi. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're trans or cis or whatever. Everyone can go down, anyone, that's, whatever. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but, we live in America. So that shit happens. But, yeah, it's really sad and it's really horrible, but we're gonna listen to this.
My husband's a firefighter, and he got a phone call this morning and said that there was a incident at Annunciation, and that's where my niece and nephew go to school. So we live nearby, so he just took off on foot. And my brother-in-law is a firefighter too, and it's his kids that go to Annunciation. And thankfully, we heard about 15 minutes ago that they're safe. But it's so awful and it's so scary. And I just am really proud of my husband and my brother-in-law for just running into the danger.
Okay, so let's see. Let's go back. Let's see what it said. I'll read it out. Okay.
Into the danger.
The shooting occurred 2 days after school started at Annunciation Catholic School, a private elementary school with about 395 students. Children were at morning mass when the shooting began. Police in Richfield, a nearby suburb, said a man dressed in all black with a rifle was reported on the scene.
During the mass, a gunman approached on the side of the building, and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol.
See, I just don't even think anyone should be able to get a rifle. That's and of course we're gonna keep getting more. We're gonna talk about this. I'll probably talk about it more, on Friday. But when more information gets out, but no matter what their ideology is, no matter who they are, whatever, we need serious gun reform in America. And unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen because the Trump administration has been loosening gun regulations recently. And because I think it was illegal for abusers or people who have abused their wives or families to be able to get guns. Now they can. So I don't unfortunately, it's a very frustrating situation because I don't think that this administration is going to do anything about it. And Trump has barely said anything about it. And everyone in his administration has just been saying that they're praying for them. And That's nice and all, but that's not going to do shit. Okay. Children keep dying. People keep dying. There's a mass shooting like almost every day in this country, and yet we do nothing about it. We do nothing about it. People can just get rifles. People can just get semi-automatic weapons, and we act like it's normal. And we act like it's some innate right just because it's in this, like, nobody wants to listen to the Constitution anymore. Nobody cares about that anymore. We've essentially ripped it up and thrown it away. So why is this the only thing? Why is this the only thing that we're sticking by? I just, God, it's just, it's so fucked up.
This was a deliberate act of violence. 2 young children, ages 8 and 10, were killed where they sat in the pews. Their parents have been notified. 17 other people were injured, 14 of them being children. 2 of those children are in critical condition. The coward who fired these shots ultimately took his own life in the rear of the church.
The school connected to an Annunciation Catholic church, which is located nearby in a residential area of Minnesota's largest city.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance.
Yeah, there's like a phone ban going, like a school phone ban. And I know it's kind of like a touchy situation right now. Like, Taylor Lorenz just went on Breaking Points and they had like a whole discussion about it. Taylor Lorenz is against it for other reasons, but it's so messed up. The first thing I thought when they were talking about having phone bans in schools was what are they going to do if a mass shooting happens? What are they going to do? You're leaving them helpless. And it's so messed up that was the first thing that I thought about. I wasn't thinking about if they could focus. I wasn't thinking about, I wasn't thinking about, them not having access to information. No, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about, what if they're in a school shooting situation? What are they going to do? Who are they going to reach out to if they don't have their phone? And it's so messed up that those are the things that we have to think about in this country. And that's like the one and only reason why I think that phone ban is bad. I mean, I don't know. I don't know much more about it, but like, I mean, and it's probably in a better society wouldn't be that bad. But in a society where children go to school and get gunned down, I think them not having phones is leaving them even more helpless. Yeah.
These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country. I'm so deeply saddened and I'm so sorry to the families that I know are suffering right now. My ask is to everyone, stand by them.
Yeah. So I have another video we're going to watch. But yeah, it's despicable. And then there was another news station that interviewed like this kid, and I'm not going to watch that one because I think it's insane that people are interviewing these children. Like, I don't like that. Like, I understand you want to interview them because you want to know what happened, but like, I feel like you're just putting them through the trauma again. And you have this, like, they were asking this kid, about what happened to him and how his friend had to dive on top of him so he wouldn't get shot. And his friend got hurt because he saved it, because he jumped on him and saved his life. These are children. And this is what they have to go through. And then you have some guy with a microphone after one of the most traumatic experiences of your life coming up to you trying to get a story. God, it's just so despicable. I don't like that they keep interviewing these kids. I just don't. I hate it, honestly. I hate it. Yeah, okay. Sorry. All right. Did you see that they are not telling everyone he had written all over his weapons in Russian slurs, etc. would post clips and talking to Russian. I did see that he did that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're posting about. I know that the YouTube thumbnails that are coming out right now are just horrendous. Even Don Lemon, I don't like Don Lemon. And I think a lot of people are trying to be oh, he's progressive now. But he was going live right after this happened and his thumbnail said trans terror ? Is that really? You're doing that to get clicks. You're doing that to get clicks. You're doing that to get attention. And it's despicable. It's despicable. That's not what we should be talking about. We should be talking about gun reform. We should be talking about mental health resources. We should be talking about how to fix this problem, what the problem is, even though I don't think it's going to get fixed because obviously this administration is not going to fix it. But that's what we should be talking about. You shouldn't be coming up with clickbait titles when a friggin' tragedy just happened. I saw that from Don Lemon and I was it's a piece of shit. Just piece of shit. I don't know what he was saying and I don't know what he said about it or whatever. I don't know. And, he had a question mark. Okay, whatever. Maybe he was saying, oh, well, maybe the person's not trans or we don't know yet or whatever. And that's fine, whatever. But I just think that thumbnail is so despicable and it's such clickbait and it's just so despicable. And I don't like that he did that. Not that it matters or whatever, because everyone's doing it. Tim Pool did it earlier. And they're oh, trans people attacking a Catholic church. They're just and that's what the narrative is going to be. That's what the narrative is going to be. This person was a literal Nazi. But that's what the narrative is going to be. Yeah, it's insane. All the Russian bloggers are talking about it. Yeah, no. And they're going to try to act like this person was on the left. I think Laura Loomer was oh, how are the Democrats going to try to skirt this one? This person was a Nazi, but apparently he didn't like Donald Trump either. Okay. Nick Fuentes is a Nazi and he doesn't like Donald Trump either. I wouldn't call him a Democrat. I wouldn't call him on the left. This is they don't care. Literal children died and they don't care. They don't care about those kids. God, it's just so frustrating. Okay, he had posted vids, heaps of guns, and it was scary amount of guns. Yes. Nothing to see her policy, 100%. They don't want eyes in schools. Honestly. And I just I think that's one of the most messed up parts about all of this is again, if they don't have their phones, how are they going to call for help? How are they going to text their parents? How are they going to do whatever? It's so messed up that's the first thing I thought of when this bill came out, but it is the first thing I thought of. Oh, Nick Fuentes likes Newsom. That's crazy. I mean, if anything, I think that spells bad for Newsom. But that's just my opinion. All right, we're gonna watch one more video about this, and then we're gonna get into some other stories that happened today.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick because we're going to go to Marielle Mose, who was able to talk with a witness who says that they escaped the gunman. Marielle, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, Heather. So we're actually in downtown Minneapolis right now where this witness works to catch up with him after he saw or he heard these gunshots ring out this morning on his way to work. He lives in the Armitage neighborhood, not many blocks from where this shooting took place at Annunciation School. Here's what he had to say of what he heard this morning around 8:20 this morning.
there was 2 cars in front of us that just stopped in front of the school. So we were like the 3rd car behind. And I saw a man running up the street the other way, and he was frantically running, like he was running for his life. And so that kind of alerted me that something was wrong. We heard probably about 15 to 20 gunshots in about 30 seconds. So we just booked it. We took a left. We jumped on Harriet. You know, we drove by and we said, "Are you okay? Do you want to come in the car with us?" And he said, yes, please. He's like, "Someone's shooting at me. Someone's shooting at me." And so we get in the car and we just ask him what's going on. He said that a man dressed in all black was firing shots, and he didn't see anything else besides what he was wearing, but he hit the ground. His hands were all beat up from hitting the ground so hard. Then he got up and he said, "I have to start running. I have to go."
So, learning more about what this person witnessed, he said that this runner got in his car and he brought him to safety to his home. He said that because the runner was running outside the school and saw this gunman, I asked him, "Well, was this shooting taking place outside?" And the runner told this witness that the gunman was shooting in the parking lot near the school. Again, police will, I'm sure, confirm all of this later, but this is just what the runner told this witness who heard the gunshot.
Yeah, they were shooting from outside of the school, so I don't think they actually went inside the school. From what I have seen. They also like idolized a lot of other school shooters, and yeah. I don't know. This is just depressing, and it's just depressing in the time we're in, because I feel like it's just going to get worse. And, you know, there was another news station earlier that was like, it's just sad that all these soft targets are where these people go. And I hate that word, soft targets, because it just means that they want to continue to militarize everything. They want to continue to have, you know, police everywhere, and that's what they want to do. And my school where I went, we had metal detectors. We had security guards. You had to sign in at every entrance. At every entrance, there was a security guard. At every entrance, there was a metal detector. At every entrance, they would look through your bag. So every day when I went to school, I would go through the metal detectors. They would look through my bag, and you would have to sign in every single day. Every single day. And you know what? That school, my high school, I wasn't there when it happened. It was just a couple years ago. But they also had a school shooter. So all of those things, the metal detector, looking at the bag, having to sign in, none of that stopped this. None of it stopped it. And when all of these people keep saying, well, if we just keep doing this, if we just add more police officers, if we just do this, if we just do that, and it keeps happening because it's the guns. Because that's what is the problem. When you can easily get an automatic weapon, when you can easily get a rifle, when you can easily get all of these guns, that is the problem. And until we fix that, this is never going to be solved. That is insane. It sounds like a jail. No, and that's the other thing. Is like my school was like that because it was in the city. And unfortunately, a lot of Black and brown communities and a lot of like schools that are in the city, they do operate in that way, and they had already been operating that way. So when all of these politicians come on screen and they say, oh, well, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to add metal detectors, all these things, they have already done that to kids in Black and brown neighborhoods. They've already done that, and they've already kind of, like it kind of does, you know, it is kind of like a jail, and you know. And a lot of the resource officers that are in those schools do not treat the students very well. They do not treat the students very well. And like this has already been happening. They've already been doing this to these schools in these areas. And so unfortunately, they're taking that and they are, you know, they're doing it. They're going to start doing it everywhere, probably at some point. But I always like to say that because it didn't stop a school shooting from happening there. All of these things, all of those things were in place not because they were scared of a school shooting. It was because, again, it was because of the area it was in, and they were already, there's a word I'm trying to think of, but I can't think of it. They're already trying to like make kids in that school feel like there was like, I do feel like it's in a way to like make them feel like they've already done something bad, or make them feel guilty, or make them feel like, you know, I don't know. I've gone to a school in the county and I've gone to a school in the city, and the differences are very stark. And so like, I don't know. I do like to mention that because I think a lot of people don't know that there are a lot of schools with, the prison pipeline. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That was my point. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And it makes you feel like you've already done something wrong, because you have to go through a metal detector. They have to look through your bag, and like, it's a whole thing. And you always have resource officers breathing down your neck. If you try to leave and then come back, it's like a whole thing, you know, and it's just not like that in schools in the county. It's just not. And so they're already trying to make you feel like this is the treatment you deserve just because you live in this certain area. And so that's exactly like that. That's exactly what it is. It is the prison pipeline. And yeah. And so, but now they want to do it. Now they're saying, oh, well, we can just do that instead. In school, so they're not a soft target. But again, it does not prevent it. It doesn't prevent drug use. And actually, I had a friend who was able to get in her drugs for a very long time. She did get caught one day. I forgot what drugs it was. But I just remember being like, oh shit, I had no idea. I'm trying to remember. It was something crazy. It was like, I think it was like heroin. It was crazy. But yeah. So yeah, I've heard about this and it's awful. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a shock, like when I first started going there. But like, it's, you know, it doesn't protect from school shootings was also my other point, because again, there was a school shooting there a couple years ago. So like continuing to do I just, it's not, this is not the answer. The answer is gun reform. That is the answer. But unfortunately, I don't know if we're ever going to get there in this country. All right. Now we're going to move to something that I wanted to talk about, and just shed light on, because trans people are probably going to continue to get, villainized, especially after today. And they've been being villainized. And, I know like the DOJ is asking for like medical records for everyone who has provided gender affirming care, which is really scary. But there's also a lot going on when it comes to like immigration and ICE. And so ICE violently snatched a Brazilian trans woman, Alice Carrera Barbosa, from her car in DC. And they said they intend to deport her to Barbosa. She's beautiful, by the way. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has announced that it intends to deport Alice, a transgender Brazilian woman who was violently detained on Saturday. And I saw the video, she was violently detained, and for a really long time, no one was talking about it. There's still a lot of news outlets that haven't talked about it, which is why I wanted to talk about this. And it was extremely violent, and a lot of people didn't know where she was for a while. So yeah, she has become the subject of internet chatter after video surfaced of her being yanked by her internet chatter. I love them, but I think it's just crazy that they said internet chatter. Like, no, this is like fucked up shit. Like, I only heard about this on the internet. Like, them is the only major outlet that I've seen had a piece on this. There is no other mainstream media that is talking about this. being yanked by her car by plainclothes ICE agents, and social media footage reposted by progressive content creators, including streamer Hasan Piker. Multiple men can be seen unbuckling her from her seat and physically pulling her from the car. She is also misgendered during the arrest. In a new statement, ICE said it plans to move forward with the deportation, referring to her in her dead name and continuing to misgender her. And that's the other problem. Like, do you think that they're going to put her around other women? Or do you think that they're purposely going to put her in like a men's facility or in a men's area? Like, this is just so despicable, and this is the cruelty. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because again, nobody is talking about this. And this is, they were specifically being cruel on purpose, by dead naming her and misgendering her, as well as being very violent with her. Which I don't think is just a coincidence. Okay, yeah, here's the video. Is this the video? This might be the video. I don't know. I guess I can show it, but it's horrific. I don't know if you can hear it because I don't have audio, but...
Can you help, please? I'm sorry? I'm not talking to you. Excuse me. You don't have permission. You don't have permission. You don't have the permission. You don't have the permission.
They don't need permission. They just said they don't need permission.
You are under arrest.
Do you see what they're doing?
Stop doing that.
Do you see?
You're under arrest. For what? For what? What are you arresting me for? What's the reason? What's the reason? You're under arrest. You're hurting me.
Good. He said good. She said you're hurting me, and he said good. Despicable.
Now you are resisting arrest.
How is she? She was literally in the car. You're literally pulling her out. You're not telling her why you're arresting her.
You're breaking into a car.
Yeah, no, you are. You're breaking into a car.
You're under arrest. Come on.
Amiga, eu vou ficar, amiga. Eu vou ficar, amiga. Okay? Amiga, você leva o celular? Você não leva o celular? Well, where are you going to take her so we know where she is?
We'll let him bring his phone with him.
Okay.
Yeah, so they just misgendered her. It's so messed up. God. According to an ICE statement sent to the Brazilian news outlet Globo, she remained in the United States for almost 6 years beyond the time allowed by her B2 tourist visa. So you get to brutalize her? So you get to assault her? You get to violently take her out of a car? That gives you an excuse to do that. This in addition to previous arrests for possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. So scary. Led to the detainment around 1 p.m. on Saturday, August 23rd in Silver Springs, Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C. She has been held at the Caroline Detention Center since Sunday, as reported on social media and confirmed by the center of them on Tuesday morning. After the news surfaced, Erica Hilton, a trans Brazilian politician, urged the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs to intercede on behalf of her, fearing for her safety and calling her arrest suspicious and violent. According to translation, the arrest also goes against the U.S. Constitution. Yeah, no, it does. And I'm glad other countries can see that, but obviously our country doesn't seem to give a shit. Our country, everyone who was screaming about the Constitution and we need to whatever, but we need to listen to the Constitution. I'm a constitutionalist. Obviously, of course, they didn't mean that shit. Obviously, I don't believe it's fruitful to explain to the U.S. the illegalities committed by a little Dorito-colored dictator. Wait. A Brazilian politician said this. Oh, this is great. Yes. Obviously, I don't believe it's fruitful to explain to the U.S. the illegalities committed by a little Dorito-colored dictator who, in order to imprison immigrants in the U.S., is reinstating concentration camps used to imprison Japanese people in the 1940s. Literally, that's what they're doing. They're using a Japanese internment camp to detain immigrants. So that's where we are right now in America. Yeah, that was great. I really love that. The Dorito colored dictator. That was great. Okay. Okay. So a friend of Barbosa, they started a GoFundMe. So yeah, check that out if you want. I was online. I don't know if it was I think it was Reddit, honestly, is where I was able to get the most information out of this. And there were a lot of people who knew her that were responding to it. And they said she's a vibrant person, talented volleyball player, and a beloved daughter and friend. So yeah, I just wanted to bring awareness to this because I feel like not enough people are talking about it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I've heard about this and it's awful. It is awful. I agree with you. We are living in a fucked up world. We really are. Come on. I haven't seen this happening to Canadians. They have held Canadians. And there's actually was it a Canadian man that died in ICE custody? And Canada really didn't do anything when that happened. They kind of talked about it. They kind of were they talked and said it was horrible, but I don't think they ever really substantially did anything. So no, this is also happening to Canadians, actually. This is happening to everyone. I don't think they care who you are. If you are not born in America, of course they're going to brutalize Black and brown people more. And obviously, if you're trans or queer, they're obviously going to brutalize you more because that's obviously why they're there. But no, this is happening to all immigrants. So yeah, this is happening to everyone because our country is just despicable. Just despicable, honestly. This is insane shit. Okay, the Dorito dictator, dark humor. I know, it's so funny. Okay, so last little news story. Well, not the last news story, but the last news story I'm going to read is this one. So swimmer Riley Gaines admits she's just using sports to make trans rights crumble. Yes. So all of us who have been saying that this isn't about sports, this isn't about fairness, yeah, of course we were right, because that's not what this has ever been about. This has been about taking away rights from a marginalized community, and this is about their ideology, and they think everyone should be a certain way, and it's a fascist ideology. So let's get into this. So anti-transgender activist Riley Gaines wants to use trans athletes to make the trans rights movement crumble, according to the New York Times profile published this week. Gaines' rise to prominence on the right over the past several years has been fueled mainly by her relentlessness targeting of trans athletes, in particular former swimmer Leah Thomas, with whom Gaines tied for 5th place. I don't know, someone told my family that she was supposed to get 1st or 2nd place and that Leah Thomas took that from her. And I've been telling them for years that she wasn't going to win and that they tied for 5th place. And they always get so mad at me. Every time I've said that to them and I've corrected them, they get so mad at me and they start yelling at me and they're like, no, it's not fair. She was going to win. And no, she wasn't. I don't know who told you this, but they tied for 5th place. They tied for 5th place, man. What? Oh, God, it's just, I don't know who told, probably it's Fox News, but people really believe that. Not that it would have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. I don't care. If Leah Thomas would have gotten 1st, I was still I don't think there should be gender to sports. I don't think we should gender sports. I think I think it's crazy that we have to do that. I think it's insane. And I think the underlying of it is very misogynistic. Yeah, no, I think anyone can play sports, and I don't care if she would have won or not. But it's just funny that they keep making this big deal about it, and she literally Riley Gaines is gonna get 5th place. Chill the fuck out. Obviously she was 5th. Yeah, and she still sucked regardless. Yeah, I know. I know. Oh God, it's so insane. Okay, so okay, with whom Gaines tied 5th place during the 2022 NCAA championships. That tie coupled with the ensuing photo op in which Gaines was given a 6th place trophy to hold. Yeah, she was given a 6th place trophy and then they sent her a 5th place one. Because they didn't have 2 5th place ones. Like, this is just so stupid. This is just like the dumbest shit to get upset with. Sent Gaines down the path of anti-trans politics. No, what happened was that she obviously couldn't succeed as a swimmer, so she instead decided to be a pundit, and spread her vicious fucking ideology around the world to get paid for it. That's what that's what happened. Okay. 6th place trophy to hold. Sent Gaines down the path of anti-trans politics. As her mother told the Times, Gaines hated losing more than she ever loved to win at an early age. Yeah, I feel like that says more about like her as a person and like you as a parent. In the 3 years since that race, Gaines has become a sports pundit and MAGA moved darling, attending President Donald Trump's joint address to Congress earlier this year and establishing herself as the face of conservative attacks on NCAA as a part of a lawsuit to sue the association for not providing equal treatment for women. In July, the University of Pennsylvania, Thomas Almodern, agreed to strip Thomas of all recognition and awards during her time in women's competition, bowing to direct pressure from the Trump administration. Yes, so Leah Thomas actually got, they stripped her of her awards, and now the Olympics is not letting trans athletes in the Olympics because Donald Trump doesn't want them to, because they're going to come here in 2028. This is just all so fucked up. Like, this is so fucked up. And unfortunately, I just think it's going to get worse. And that really scares me. And I don't know. I just like, I don't understand why this is such a big deal, because it's not about sports. It's not about fairness. It is about oppressing a minority group, and it is about taking rights away from a marginalized community, and that's all it is. And, you know, I think people don't understand that, like, trans women are women, okay? They like, I don't understand what the big deal is about it. And I guess I just don't I don't get it personally. I don't get it at all. And I don't think that there's any reason to, just say that, oh, this specific person cannot do, that's what they're doing. They're saying because you are trans, you cannot play in sports. And that's essentially what they're doing. And it's only just going to keep going, and it's going to keep going down. So right now, people like Jank are going to be like, well, that's not a popular issue, so we're not going to fight back. But then it's going to keep going, and it's going to keep going. And right now he says he doesn't care if trans people are in the military, but Trump already decided that that's not okay. And they've already let tons of trans people out. They've already taken a lot of trans people out of the military, and a lot of them aren't even getting the benefits that they were promised when they joined the military. Just again, cruelty for the sake of cruelty. And so this is not about fairness. This is not about sports. This is not about protecting women. A lot of cis women. There was a couple weeks ago, there was a cis woman who went to a Buffalo Wild Wings and had to show her breasts to the waiter or waitress because they didn't believe that she was a woman and that she could go in that bathroom. This is not about fairness. This is not about anything. They just don't want trans people to exist. That's what this is about. And I feel like Riley Gaines saying that she just wants their rights to crumble. I think that's just saying the quiet part out loud because she feels like she can now. Honestly, it's despicable. It really is. Okay. I want to see the part where she says, where she says that she wants them to crumble. I don't think they say it in here, but I guess Gaines further told the Times that she once berated, misgendered, and demanded her former college's assistant swimming coach, who is a trans man. What? Directly after her tie with Thomas, Gaines claimed that she found the distraught and crying coach in the hotel lobby, who asked her why nobody had checked in on him. Gaines' response was to misgender and dead name the coach. She told the Times, because quite frankly, no one cares how you feel. So she's just a piece of shit. I mean, I already knew that, but she's just a piece of shit. Oh my God. Oh, it's right here. Okay. For Gaines, who testified in favor of Montana's anti-trans bathroom bill in January, opposing trans women in women's sports as a vehicle to dismantle trans activism, restrict gender-affirming medical care, and encourage cisgender people to stop accepting trans people. Yes, that's exactly what this is. That's all this has ever been. This is all this has ever been. The gender ideology movement is a house of cards, Gaines told the Times this week, using a euphemism frequently deployed by the Trump administration. Gaines added that she believes sports participation will be the card that makes all of it crumble. Exactly. No. That's exactly it. And I'm glad she's spelling it out. But she obviously feels comfortable saying that right now. But I'm glad she's spelling it out, because people like Cenk and people like all these Democrats, Pete Buttigieg, all of these people who want to throw trans people on the bus consistently, and act like, well, it's not a popular issue. So like, why do you want to defend them? Because this is about taking their rights away. This is about them wanting trans people not to exist. This is all this has ever been about. This is all that this has ever been about. And so Cenk and Pete Buttigieg and all these stupid fucking centrists that want to sit here and throw trans people under the bus are the problem. They are the problem, because they don't want to push back and they don't want to say anything, because this has always been the goal. This is always been the goal. And now they have taken this and they've turned it into marginalizing and oppressing trans people. That is what they're doing. And there are people who are on the center and on the center left who have let it happen. Yeah. So I don't know. I just get very passionate about that. Whew. Okay. Can't wait for Gaines and Kyle Rittenhouse to win 5th on Dancing with the Stars. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, if that happens, I'm gonna lose. Well, I don't know. That one girl, Alex Earl, is going on Dancing with the Stars, isn't she? I don't even know. I forgot what she did. I don't remember. She did something, and I just remember it went crazy on the internet. Are they really coming at the Olympics? I think Donald Trump pressured them, yeah, but I don't know if they're coming. I don't know. They say they're coming in 2028. Who knows by 2028 if that's actually going to happen. I don't know. Do you know what the funny thing about this is that now Riley Gaines can show her kid her 6th place medal. God help her kid, honestly. A 10K, before the month August fries. Power over women, the net result, 100%. It's about everyone's rights. No, it is about everyone's rights. Like, this is like, they're gonna come for everyone. And so that's why I think it's really insane when people want to say, oh, well, this is not a popular issue. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Trans people are human beings, and we should support them, and we should protect them, and we should stand up for them. And it is only going to be a playbook of then coming after everybody else and everybody else's rights. And it's just going to keep going down the line, because that's what this is. Remember Tucker on Dancing with the Stars? Oh my God, I didn't even know he was on Dancing with the Stars. That's insane. Was he really on Dancing with the Stars? It's existential. We are in a crisis. 1000% yes. Did Trump ever give back the stolen FIFA trophy? I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay. So and they are just gatekeeping 100%. Okay, so man, I have a couple things, but it's already 11, so hopefully you guys stay with me because I have a couple more things. This news story.
All right, thanks, Megan. Time now 5:04 this morning. Nearly 24 FEMA employees are on paid leave.
It's about FEMA.
After those workers can raise concerns to Congress, the Trump administration cuts have reversed post-Hurricane Katrina progress. The White House is defending the move. Meanwhile, President Trump says he has a new focus to tackle crime. Jared Hill has the latest.
It's 12 days. We haven't even started. This is going to be so safe.
After touting his takeover of D.C. police, overnight President Donald Trump continued his focus on crime, posting on social media that he's working with Republican congressional leaders on a comprehensive crime bill, and floating the notion of sending National Guard troops to other American cities, like New York and Chicago. Illinois' Democratic governor.
No one wants them to come, that crime is down, murders in particular down.
This comes as the president could find himself in a legal battle over the Federal Reserve after he said he fired Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she would.
In a letter Monday, Trump wrote there was sufficient cause to believe Cook made false statements on...
There wasn't. She owned a house and she owned a condo, and he's saying that it's like housing fraud. I think they're going to get to FEMA because that's what I got this video for, but maybe they're not. I don't know. We'll see. But no, this is also really bad because he fired her. She's not leaving. She said that, you know, she's not going to just leave and she's going to fight this. So hopefully she can, although I don't know. But it's insane to me that this man with all this money who has enriched himself while he's been in the presidency is going after someone because they have a condo and a house. Okay.
One or more mortgage agreements. Cook fired back, saying the president had no authority to remove her from the independent Federal Reserve Board, and she's planning to take...
He didn't, and a lot of the reason why he's doing this is because he wants them to cut the rates, the interest rates. I don't know much about this, but I know I was watching Kyle Kulinski earlier, and he was saying that at this point, if we do cut the rates, that inflation is just gonna like skyrocket. Now, I don't know. I'm not sure. I took like 2 introductory I can't speak, econ classes at school. So like, I don't really know anything outside of like those classes. But yeah, it is not legal. It's not good. And it's just another authoritarian move.
Legal action. The back and forth comes amid President Trump's ongoing push to get the Fed to cut interest rates.
Yeah.
We're very strong, and we should be lowering the rates.
Something Chair Jerome Powell has signaled could happen at their September meeting. Meanwhile, CBS News has confirmed over a dozen FEMA employees have been put on leave after raising concerns that Trump administration cuts to the Federal Emergency Management Agency could hurt response in the middle of hurricane season.
A FEMA spokesperson said in a statement that they are committed to ensuring FEMA delivers for the American people, calling those who raised concerns, quote, bureaucrats who presided over decades of inefficiency.
That's insane. No. He was criticizing them. No, not he. There were the people that he let go or put on leave criticized him. I think they wrote a letter. They wrote a letter because they were worried because they're sending the National Guard to DC and to Chicago and all these other states are sending the National Guard to all these other places. And there are natural disasters happening. It is hurricane season. And so instead of listening to them, they said, no, we're going to put you on leave because how dare you call out the obvious disaster, the obvious chaos that is going to happen. Like, how dare you point that out? And he put them on leave. And now they're saying, oh, they're just bureaucrats and inefficiency. Like, insane. Like in St. Louis, I think FEMA, that like it's I think the last day to apply for like FEMA help was this week or something. But apparently they've been like denying all of the requests. And like they deny, I forgot what, I read something about them denying all these, like denied this big request or something. And so, and I don't know if that's because of like FEMA cuts or it's just because like they don't care and they don't want to help. And that's just, I don't know. I don't know which one it is. It's probably just like a mixture of both. Not the people who work at FEMA, but just like the administration. And so this is going to get very bad. Because it's going to be hurricane season. We're going to keep having these natural disasters. And FEMA's going to keep getting cut. And they're going to keep laying people off who want to criticize it. The National Guard isn't going to help because they're going to be out somewhere, just terrorizing people. Because, I mean, I guess whatever. Well, apparently they're not even terrorizing people. Apparently they were the other day when he was talking about trash, actually, he might have been actually like talking about them picking up trash, because they literally have been picking up trash off the street, like litter off the street, which is insane. We're spending like millions of dollars for them to be in DC, and they're picking up trash, like literal trash on the ground. It's wild, just like insane. Okay. So I have 2 more videos. I know, crazy. But the next one, maybe we'll watch it later. I think we're gonna watch the last video, politics and my new little segment, politics and context, where we learn something new. So it's going to be another PBS video, and it's going to be about who can actually vote. And I wanted to watch this video because the one we were going to watch before was about how authoritarianism is already here, and it's called like competitive authoritarianism. I know a lot of other people like Mike Figueredo and stuff like that have reacted to this, but on MSNBC they were going through all of the things that Trump has done and how we're really not in a democracy anymore, and this has become a competitive authoritarianism. And so I thought it would be good to talk about, like, you know, because everyone's always like, oh, we have to defend a democracy. And yeah, we have kind of a democracy, but like, I do think that it hasn't really been a democracy for everyone. And so this video is going to be about how, like, we think we have the right to vote and that everyone can vote, but is that actually the reality in this country? So let's watch it. I'm so excited. All right. All right, so let's get it going.
Do you have the constitutional right to vote for president?
Yes, I do.
As an American citizen, yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Last election, more than 150 million people voted, while another 90 million chose not to. But whether or not we do it, all Americans have the right to vote, right? I mean, there are whole amendments on it. But if you read the fine print, your specific right to vote isn't in here. And in terms of voting for president, you don't have the right to do that at all. In this episode, I'll explore who can vote today, the history of voting rights, how voting varies from state to state, and whether we actually have the right to vote for president. We'll also meet up with some legal experts who can help us get to the bottom of this. I'm Ben Sheehan, and this is Civics Made Easy. Who can vote today in America? If you remember from our Election Day episode, states make their own voting laws. And every state says if you're a U.S. citizen and at least 18 years old, you can vote. Although some states
Let me know if it's like too loud or loud enough. I just kind of mess with the volume, so let me know.
or deny your right to vote if you've been convicted of a crime, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, no, literally, if you're a felon, you can't vote, which I think is horrible, and I hate that so much. And in Florida, they actually voted to like turn that around, but I don't think they ever did.
As for who can't vote, people under 18, as well as non-citizens, are not allowed to cast a ballot in either federal or state elections. Non-citizen voting
Raise it more, okay.
has actually been illegal in every state since 1926. And in 1996, Congress added more criminal penalties if non-citizens were to vote in elections for Congress or president. But there are roughly 16 cities and towns in California, Maryland, and Vermont, plus DC, that do let non-citizens vote in local elections, like city council. And roughly 12 cities and towns in those same 3 states, plus New Jersey, let 16-year-olds vote in local elections like school board. So, to get this out of the way, although non-citizens could vote in at least 40 states and territories before 1926, it is not true that today, or any time in the past 100 years, that non-citizen voting in federal or state elections has been legal or frequent.
I like that they're pointing that out, because that obviously is like, that obviously is the whole like storyline that Trump and everyone's going with. Oh, they just want to bring all these immigrants in so they can vote Democrat, even though they literally cannot vote. So that's just not true. But I didn't know that I do think that if you live here for a certain amount of time, like, you should be able to vote. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, we're making all these decisions and like it's affecting them as well. So like, I don't know, whatever. But I didn't know that some immigrants or like people who are not like, full-fledged citizens can vote in like local elections. It's actually really cool. Like I didn't know that. And I didn't know that it used to be allowed before too. Wow. It's kind of crazy. Like, wow. That's why I like this.
In fact, Georgia's Secretary
You need to learn new things. Okay.
of State found that over a 25-year period, out of the millions of Georgians who registered, just 1,600 non-citizens attempted to register and none succeeded.
Wow. Wow. Oh, damn. I hear RW framing in parallel. I don't know what that means. Does that have to do with my sound or... I don't know what that means.
And Michigan's Secretary of State found that in the 2024 election, of the 5.7 million voters who cast a ballot, 15 may have been non-citizens. And finally, according to the Heritage Foundation, of the more than 1.8 billion votes cast since 1982 in either presidential or midterm elections, just 1,600 were proven instances of fraud. That's 0.000089%. But it is true that throughout much of our history, states have prevented U.S. citizens from voting. A history of voting rights.
Yes.
Believe it or not, the U.S. Constitution...
I really like this video. And I really like it because this is another conversation I had with my dad the other day, but Trump is trying to get rid of mail-in ballots and, they really have made everyone believe that mail-in ballots are just like this big bad evil. And I was trying to talk to him and I was like, listen, we have like some of the safest elections. Like when I say, I don't know what's going to happen in the midterm election, or I don't know if we're going to have an election in 2028, I don't mean like, oh, it's going to be rigged or whatever. I mean like, we're going to have the National Guard intimidating people in blue cities to vote. I mean, we're going to get rid of mail-in ballots. I mean, we're going to things are going to get gerrymandered. Like, that's what I mean. I don't mean that like the systems itself, there is something wrong with them. Like we have very safe elections, and very accurate ones. And so, this whole like conspiracy, and it's happening on the left too. But this whole conspiracy that there's something wrong, like that there's something wrong with our voting, is just wrong. And the time that I do think an election was stolen was with Al Gore and Bush. But again, that wasn't stolen. That was because like the judge, wasn't it? I think it was like the judge that ruled on it was like related to him, was like his brother-in-law or something. So like, again, it had nothing to do with the actual voting, and it had everything to do with like his brother-in-law stealing it for him, so like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm glad that they're like pointing this out. It was stolen. No, it was the one in I forget what year that was, but no, that one definitely was. Exactly, they're already on the streets. No, they are already on the streets. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think it's much as like voting per se, or like them messing with the voting tabulations, but I think it's going to be more of like an intimidation tactic. In 2000. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. From the folks that brought us Project 2025. Exactly. Even they're admitting it. But of course, no one's going to look at that.
It doesn't say who can and can't vote. Instead, it says that if your state lets you vote in its state house elections, then you can vote in its congressional elections. Now,
I didn't know
Americans
that.
have always been able to vote for the House of Representatives, but only since 1913 have we been able to vote for senators. Before that, they were chosen by state legislatures, the people
Oh my God. See, I didn't know any of this.
who write our state laws. But the reason the Constitution doesn't say specifically who can vote is because its authors couldn't agree. So the compromise was that it would be left up to each state. And you might...
I love this so much. I'm stopping it so much, so I apologize. But I love this so much because this is something that I think a lot of people don't want to recognize when they talk about the Constitution. And then when they want to talk about the founders, I was just watching I was just watching an interview the other day with this guy, and he looks really like he looks like a really great candidate. He's running in Illinois, actually close to me. I think his district, East St. Louis, is a part of his district. So like I was like, maybe I should like help his campaign out or something. But he's a National Guard. He's running against I think he's gonna end up running against Susan Collins. I don't know. I forget all of it, but Wajahad Ali, I love him. I watch his stuff all the time. And he was interviewing him, and one of the things he said was like, oh, our founders, they wanted us all to be equal. And I really think on the, and he's a progressive, he's a leftist, and I understand that some people just use that to try to get conservatives to agree. But I really think we need to stop saying stuff like that, because that's not true. That's not true. The founders did not want everyone to be equal whatsoever. That's not what they wanted. That is not how they constructed the Constitution. We need to stop with that lie, because it's not true. Yeah.
I'd be surprised by who states let vote, at least at first. For example, after the Constitution took effect in 1789, New Jersey let women vote, although just for 2 decades.
Okay.
And of the original 13 states, 10 let free black men vote, although in North Carolina they had to own property. Back then,
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
the only states that limited voting...
And that's why when people want to be like, why don't you want to put these stipulations on voting? Why don't you want to do that? Because these are the thing, they use stuff like this. They use these little stipulations. You have to have this, you have to have that to hinder people from voting. That's all it is.
Voting to property-owning white men, aka 6% of the population, were Virginia, South Carolina, and Georgia. But over the following 50 years, states began to pass laws to prevent free black men from voting. States also began to remove property requirements. By 1821, only 3 states still had them. So in effect, more white men could vote, but fewer free black men. Fast forward to 1865, when the Civil War ended and the 13th Amendment banned slavery. The 14th Amendment, 3 years later, made people who were enslaved U.S. citizens and effectively punished states for not letting black men vote. And in 1870, the 15th Amendment said that voting rights can't be taken away because of someone's race. Problem solved? I'm sorry if you had to find out this way, but that's not quite how the story goes. Here's where that...
Problem solved? No, not at all. Nope.
That fine print comes in. The 15th Amendment says that states can't deny or abridge voting rights to people because of their race, which means you can't lose those rights because you're black, but it doesn't mean you get them in the first place. So for the next 100 years, states, primarily southern ones, exploited this loophole to prevent black men from voting. For example, they made them pay a poll tax, a fee you had to pay before casting a ballot.
Yes, and that's why I think it's really important when people talk about I just want them to have this certain ID, or they need to have that ID, or whatever. When people say that, it's because that whole narrative is so that they don't want certain people who can't afford to maybe go get a driver's license to vote. Now, if we just had a standard state ID that we gave out to everyone for free, I think that would solve the problem. But when you register to vote, you have to have some form of ID. And so it's the same thing with this new ID or true ID or whatever the hell. I don't have one, but it's the same thing. They just want you to pay more, and it's essentially a poll tax. If they were to say, hey, you have to have this real ID, it's a real ID. That's what I mean. This real ID to be able to vote, that would essentially be a poll tax, because not everyone can go and get that, and spend money to go and get that, because we have to pay to get our licenses. We have to pay. And it's it's so insane to think that something you need, something they're telling you need to do all these things in society, you have to pay for. It's insane. But I think that we should all just because this is what a lot of other countries do. They create state IDs that's just generic, so you don't have to have a driver's license, because they have trains and stuff in most other countries. But anyway, you don't have to have a specific driver's license or a real ID or whatever the hell. You get a state issued ID for free, and that's what you use. And I really think we should do that. But of course, that would be too fair. That would actually be fair to everyone. And that's not what we want here. That's not what we're about here.
Given the racial wealth disparity, this had a disproportionate effect. They also passed literacy tests, which, since many formerly enslaved people couldn't read, also acted as a way to gatekeep the voting booth. Sometimes these tests asked people to read the Constitution backwards or upside down.
What?
Some had nothing to do with literacy at all, like guessing the number of jelly beans in a jar.
Oh my God, okay, who said that? I didn't know that was real. Oh my God, wait. That's insane. How many jelly beans are in this jar? I didn't know that. Oh my God, like literally. And that's why again, when people keep wanting to say that the Constitution is for freedom and you know, it's such a amazing document and they really just want everyone to be fair and free. That is not true. That is not true. That has never been true. That is not true. Oh my God. Okay. Our democracy is pay to win. Totally. Pay to play. Insane. Yep. 100%.
Or bubbles on a bar of soap. There
What?
were also grandfather clauses, which said if your grandpa can vote, then you can vote. And some states were even more explicit and only let white people vote in the primaries, while technically allowing black men to vote in the general election. Again, all of these things were designed to skirt around the deny and abridge language in the 15th Amendment. Language that also shows up in later amendments regarding voting rights for women, people 18 and older, and more. So
yeah, and that's what they're coming for. I mean, they've been talking about it, but I do think voting rights for women is definitely going to be on the chopping block here soon, one day.
if the Constitution has all these loopholes, then where does our right to vote come from? Your specific right to vote does come from the Constitution, just not the one you think. I met with two professors who are total experts on voting rights and state constitutions to learn more. Joshua Douglas, state constitution expert from the University of Kentucky, and Richard Hasan, constitutional expert from UCLA. A lot of people are probably surprised to hear that there isn't an affirmative right to vote in the Constitution. Why isn't there one?
The founders didn't believe in universal suffrage.
There you go, man. There you go. Which is also scary because this is something I did not know. And so I knew that they've hindered people from voting for a very long time. And I knew that this Constitution has never been for everyone or fair or whatever. But I didn't know that we didn't have an affirmative right to vote no matter what, which is scary in the times that we're in. But I do think it's important that this man is telling people that the founders didn't believe in universal suffrage. I am glad that he is saying this because, again, I feel like on the left, or at least liberals or centrists, they just keep this idea that oh no, the founders were so brilliant. They were so brilliant. And listen, I like Hamilton, but it is whitewashed, okay? It is so insanely whitewashed, and it's so insanely not true. It's very, it's ahistorical when it comes to, the brutality of it all and, what they did, because they were not for freedom. They were not for everyone having rights. Obviously, they were not for everyone voting. They were for white, wealthy men who owned property, and that's what they were for. That's what they wanted, and that's who they were for, and that has always been who they are for, and that has always been how the Constitution was written. But somehow we've rewritten history into thinking that somehow these men that brutalized and genocided Native Americans, that brutalized and tortured and made black people slaves in their property, and then had women as chattels. That's not chattel slavery. Had women as property as well. So the fact that we still this notion that they ever cared about freedom or fairness or whatever is so not true. It has never been true, and yes, yeah, I'm glad he's saying that. All in that to say, I'm glad he's saying that the founders did not believe in universal suffrage.
Franchise, and African Americans were disenfranchised even in places where they were not slaves.
Yes.
So if there isn't an affirmative right to vote in the U.S. Constitution, where does our right to vote come from?
Every state in their constitution has its own protections for the right to vote, but those are written in very general ways, and how much they're enforced and how much protection they give for voters depends upon the way that the state courts have interpreted the Constitution.
This is a good time to mention that, like the United States and the U.S. Constitution, each state has its own constitution. Think about it like the terms and conditions sheet for existing in your state. This is where your right to vote is spelled out. To get a better understanding of voting rights and state constitutions, I'm talking with Professor Joshua Douglas at the University of Kentucky. Professor, Why do so few people know what's in their state constitutions, let alone that they even have one?
I don't think we do a very good job teaching it.
We do not. We don't do a very good job teaching history, just like at all. Just like actual history, like real history, the truth about this country. No. And I think that's on purpose. I think it's on purpose. Yeah, and like I just know from being in a red state what it's like to learn about history and like civics and stuff. And it was not shit. Not shit, okay? Okay.
But just in terms of kind of the foundational starting place, the state constitution sets up the state government, just like the U.S. Constitution sets up the U.S. government.
Like the most I learned about like civics and like this country and like how it was really founded was in my college government class. That's when I learned the most. Yeah. And I loved that class. That was my favorite class.
So, why do you have a governor in your state? Because the state constitution creates the office of the governor.
What would you say are the big differences between a state constitution and the U.S. Constitution?
State constitutions often, and most of them do, set out what we call affirmative rights. And that's kind of different from the U.S. Constitution. Because the U.S. Constitution, it recognizes rights, but it does it, for most of them, in the negative. So what do I mean by this? The First Amendment says, of the U.S. Constitution, says Congress shall make no law abridging freedom of speech. It doesn't say that we have freedom of speech. It says Congress can't make law that takes it away.
Wait, okay. So the way he is explaining this does make a lot of sense, but it's also, again, kind of scary because I guess, like, it's scary because they're like, okay, they can't make laws taking this away, but also that doesn't mean we have that right. That doesn't mean we have like inexplicitly have that right. It just means that they can't hinder it, I guess. That's interesting.
Sort of assumes that the right is there. Many state constitutions, by contrast, actually set out the right.
State constitutions are what initially gave voting rights to property-owning white men, or men without property, or even some women and free black men. And they're also what took those rights away from those last 2 groups, well into the 1900s. Some state constitutions, like these, let women vote well before the U.S. Constitution.
Wait, okay. So wait, which one? Oh, so the one in like the turquoise let women vote. Well, that makes sense. Of course, Missouri's not on. Of course, Missouri was not one of those states.
Protected that right. State constitutions and state laws are also what implemented poll taxes, literacy tests, grandfather clauses, and whites-only primaries. So, how did this eventually change? Well, in 1915, the Supreme Court banned grandfather clauses, and in 1944, whites-only primaries. In 1964, the 24th Amendment banned poll taxes. And that year, and the following, Congress passed the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, arguably the two most famous laws in American history. Among many other things, they outlawed literacy tests, which means voting was finally legal and accessible to American citizens of both sexes and all races for the very first time. Today, the only group of American citizens who potentially can't vote are felons, people incarcerated, on probation, or on parole, depending on the...
Which I think is not okay. I don't understand. Like, I don't get the purpose of that. What is the purpose of that? That doesn't make any sense to me. What is, like, also, I had someone tell me that, like, like, someone in their family got a drug charge and it was on, like, weed, which is so insane. Like, it did get downgraded since Biden, or it came off since Biden, or whatever. Because did Biden ever reclassify it? I don't know if he did, but he did take that. I know there were a lot of people who got that, like, taken off their record. But she was telling me, like, all the things that, like, her family member could not do because they were a felon. And it was just like they couldn't get a loan for college, they couldn't vote, they couldn't do all these different things. And I'm like we are purposely not letting people rehabilitate themselves. Like, and I know this and I know that's true, but it's just like hearing it and hearing someone, someone's firsthand experience with someone who's gone through that is just so, like, it's so frustrating because why don't they should be able to get grants to school. Like they should be able to get loans. They should be able to do all these things. Like we should be allowing that because we should want them to rehabilitate. We should want them to come back and be a productive member of society. Like why are we doing this? And I know it's just so they can go back to prison so that way they can keep doing like slave wages in all these private prisons where, you know, all these corporations outsource their work to prisons and they get like slave wages. But God, it's just so frustrating because like I just don't even see the purpose of them not being able to vote. Like what's the point of that? Just to be cruel, honestly. He lowered it. Okay, he did lower it. Okay, it is not at Schedule 1. Okay. I wasn't sure if he did that or not, but that's good. I'm glad he did that. LOL, I have no idea what's in any of our constitutions. Yeah, I don't know what's in my state constitution either. I'm really not sure. I have no idea.
State they can temporarily or permanently lose their voting rights. Unless we're talking about Maine, Vermont, or DC, which actually let you vote from jail.
Great.
The reason states can do this is because of a loophole in the 14th Amendment, allowing voting rights to be taken away as punishment for a crime, similar to how the 13th Amendment lets slavery still be used as punishment for a crime. But other than felons, if you're an American citizen and at least 18, you have the right to vote in federal and state elections in every state, except in presidential elections. We don't have the right to vote for president? I promise you, I'm not making this up. In our Constitution, electors, the members of the Electoral College, who we learned about in Episode 1, vote directly for president and vice president, and it's up to our state legislature to choose how we pick those electors. At first, many legislatures picked the electors themselves, and we didn't get any say. But by 1828, every state besides South Carolina had switched over to a popular vote.
I don't like this. This is very scary. I don't like this. It's like, oh, it's fun. We get to learn stuff. No, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I spell this as being a problem in the future. Okay.
And it works like this. We vote for president, and whoever wins, their political party's electors pledge to vote for them in the Electoral College. In other words, you don't vote for president. You vote for people who then vote for president. And you get to vote for those people thanks to your state's constitution, not the U.S. one. Because here's the kicker. The Supreme Court has said that state legislatures at any time can take back the power to appoint electors, meaning not letting us vote for president at all.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, this is worse than I thought. I'm more terrified than I was before now. Wait, what? Oh, God. This does not spell good for our future in this country. Okay. Yeah, no, this is wild. I don't even know what to say. Cool. So they can just choose who they want themselves. Cool. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Using the electors themselves. In other words, voting for president is just a nice thing our state legislature lets us do. It's a luxury afforded to us by our state constitution, not the U.S. one. So what would an affirmative right to vote in the Constitution look like? What do you think it should say?
If you look at the German Constitution, it says that, every adult citizen has the right to vote for their parliament.
Why couldn't it just be a federal law? Why do we have to enshrine it specifically in the Constitution?
If you put the stuff in a statute, you leave it to the Supreme Court to say, well, that doesn't comply with the Constitution. When you put it in the Constitution itself, it's much harder to go around that.
What do you say to people who may not agree with it to convince them that this amendment is needed?
I point to a case called Carrington versus Rash. Texas barred military voters from voting in Texas elections on the idea that these were people who were not really citizens of Texas. It might be.
What? Of course it was Texas, but oh my God. The more we watch this, the more uneasy I am feeling. Okay,
There's
sorry.
going to be a point in time when both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party see it as in their interest to protect voting rights. And if that moment comes, then we could have an opening for a constitutional right to vote.
Yeah, no, I think that moment is shot. I think that moment's gone. Oh no, this is not funny.
Which brings me to my final point, one that doesn't just apply to voting. It's not enough to know what your rights are. You have to know where they are. At least if you want to strengthen the rights you have or add new ones. And this can be really hard to track, because a right could be found in the US Constitution, or in a law passed by Congress, or a Supreme Court decision, or in your state's constitution, or state law, or a decision from your state's Supreme Court. Yes, states have their own Supreme Court. So that's 6 different places. And if you throw in executive orders from the president or your state's governor, that's 8 places where rights of various levels of strength can be found. If that process sounds easy to navigate, then I've got a jar of jelly beans that you can help me count.
Oh, God.
To sum things up, in the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson wrote that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. And to secure these rights, governments are instituted by us. And if those governments become destructive, meaning they don't secure our rights, then it's our right to alter them, or abolish them, which is what he and his friends did. So to protect your rights, and the rights of the people you care about, you have to know where they're found and where they're not. So, as a takeaway, in addition to reading the US Constitution, might I recommend you look at your most up-to-date state constitution, which I'm almost positive you've never read, or
I have
potentially
not.
even knew existed before this video.
I knew it existed, but I have not read it. I have not read it.
You can find it online as well as the US one. And if you'd like a little help in understanding the US Constitution, might I suggest a book? You can DM me for details. I'm Ben Sheehan, and I hope you learned something.
I did learn something. Thank you, Ben. I did learn something. Thanks. Dude reminds me of Callahan from Channel 5. Why haven't Dems pushed for direct population presidential election 40 years? Message. Yeah, you know, I think the Democrats became so scared of their own shadow for so long that like now we're in this environment where the Republicans will use these loopholes. They will. Donald Trump will use these loopholes. Like they will. And they're going to take advantage of them. When like we could have like just abolished the Electoral College, but they think that's like too extreme. And it's like, no, like we would actually have a real democracy. Like we don't really have one. We never really have. Yeah, that was a very enlightening video. Maybe I'll have to look at my state's constitution and see what it says. I'll report back. Yeah, that's gonna be it for me tonight. Thank you all so much for watching with me. Wait, they are driving trucks into these loopholes. They really are. Like they're gonna take advantage of any loophole there is. So yeah. Damn, what if the Republicans do it next? Yeah, no, and that's the crazy part. It's like they're already doing it. So I'm glad that at least they're like, okay, now we're gonna gerrymander. Well, good, because they're already doing it. Like we should have been worrying about this years ago. Like this should have been something that you guys were fighting against and worrying about years ago, okay? And now we're in the point where we haven't fought back for so long that like now they're just gonna take advantage of it all. And that's what's happening. Now we're in this environment where we campaign with Liz Cheney. Exactly. Like it's just gotten so bad. It's so bad. And I try not to be like super doomer, but you know, I mean, things are pretty bad. Things are kind of bad. And learning, this was very enlightening and learning all this was fun, but, I gotta say, it definitely made me more worried. It didn't help ease any of my anxieties about the future. So, you know, it just kind of heightened them to really. Chuck will do a firm letter, honestly. He'll do a firm letter. That's what they did. Didn't Hakeem Jeffries the other day said, well, someone wrote him a stern letter. I'm like, dude. He's sending the National Guard to D.C. What do you mean a stern letter? You got to be kidding me at this point. Like, you got to be kidding me that you're sitting here and you still think that this is like a good comeback. We wrote a stern letter. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he's shaking in his boots. Come on. Be real here. Like, live in reality, please. Like, what is happening? Okay. Okay, this time I really am gonna go. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here and watching. Nope, not the outro yet. Sorry. I'm gonna say thank you for coming to my stream. Yes, thank you all for being here. I love you all, and thank you to my members, Troy, Roberto, Queen of Daydreams, Crystal, Zafira. I still have to figure out how to say your last name. I'm so sorry. I do love it though, because it reminds me of like Sapphic, that's what it reminds me of. Yes, but yes, thank you to my members. If you want to become a member, that would mean the world. If not, just like share, subscribe, all the things help out. And just, I love being with you all and watching all this and interacting. It's always super fun. So thank you all for coming. And yes, I hope you all have a great night as well. And I will see you on Friday. Yes, see you on Friday. Good night, everyone.